My child, stop scrolling. This is not the moment you were meant to miss. If these words found you, then hear me carefully. A call from heaven is waiting for your answer, and what you do in the next few minutes matters more than you realize. Do not listen halfway. Do not let distraction steal what your soul has been crying out for in secret. Stay with me until the very end, because this message is not here to entertain you. It is here to confront what you have delayed, waken what has been sleeping, and place you face to face with the decision you can no longer outrun. I am going to speak directly to the hidden places, the hesitation, the fear, and the door that is open before you right now. So stay. Listen closely. Do not move. Because before this is over, you will know exactly what heaven is asking of you. My beloved child, before you go any further, I want you to understand something that is more important than the thoughts racing through your mind right now. You are not reading these words by accident. You are not here because of timing, curiosity, or some random turn in your day. I brought you here because there is a call from heaven waiting for your answer, and I have been patient with your heart for longer than you know. You may have been moving through your life carrying questions you never fully said out loud. You may have been trying to keep yourself busy, trying to stay functional, trying to hold together things that feel fragile beneath the surface. But even in the middle of all of that, I have been watching you with a love that never loosened its grip. I know the places in you that feel tired. I know the parts of you that have learned how to smile while quietly hurting. I know how often you have tried to make sense of things that do not make sense yet. And still, here you are, right in this moment, with my voice reaching for you in a way that feels different because it is different. I am not brushing past your life. I am stepping directly into it. I am speaking to you because I want your attention before the world steals it again. I want your heart before fear talks over me. I want you to notice that what you have been longing for is not as far away as you thought. There is a reason something inside you paused when you saw this. There is a reason you felt that subtle pull to stay. There is a reason these words are landing deeper than ordinary words. It is because I am the one meeting you here. I am the one who has seen every hidden ache, every late-night thought, every moment when you wondered whether I still hear you. I heard you then, and I hear you now. Some of your prayers did not sound like prayers at all. Some of them were just your silence. Some of them were your exhaustion. Some of them were that heaviness in your chest when you could not explain what was wrong. I understood all of it. You do not have to translate your pain perfectly for me to know it. I know you more deeply than you know yourself. I know what has made you cautious. I know what has made you hesitate. I know what disappointment has taught you, and I know how many times you have wanted to believe again but did not know if your heart could take another letdown. That is why I am coming to you like this. Not to pressure you, not to shame you, not to force you into some performance of faith that sounds good on the outside while your spirit still feels distant within. I am coming close because I want you to feel how personal this is. This is not a message for a crowd. This is not a general word thrown into the air hoping someone catches it. This is me, your Father, speaking directly to you, because I have something to say that your soul needs more than your schedule, more than your distractions, more than your coping mechanisms. I have been calling you in quiet ways for a long time, through moments you brushed off, through pauses you could not explain, through that feeling that something in your life still has not settled no matter how much you tried to move forward. That was not emptiness chasing you. That was me calling you back. And now I am asking you, with all the tenderness of heaven and all the care of a father who has never taken his eyes off you, to stop running past moments like this. Stay here with me. Let yourself be still enough to hear what your heart has been missing. You do not need to have everything figured out before you listen. You do not need to know what comes next before you admit that I am near. You do not need to clean up every fear before you let me speak into it. All I need from you right now is your attention and your honesty. That is enough for me to begin. That is enough for me to meet you in a real way. Because this first moment matters more than you realize. It is not just an introduction. It is an invitation. It is the beginning of a turning point that can become holy if you let it. And I need you to know, with no confusion left in your spirit, that I am the one who brought you here because I still want you, I still love you, and I am still calling your name. You have lived through enough by now to know that not every voice deserves access to your heart. You have heard opinions, criticism, promises that were not kept, advice that only made things heavier, and words from people who spoke without understanding what you were truly carrying. That is part of why you have become guarded. That is part of why you sometimes hesitate even when you sense me drawing close. You have learned how to protect yourself from disappointment, and in some ways that instinct has felt necessary because life has not always handled you gently. I know that. I do not speak to you as someone unaware of what has shaped you. I speak to you as the one who stood beside you while it was happening. I was there when you were trying to be strong for everyone else and quietly falling apart inside. I was there when you were too tired to explain yourself and too overwhelmed to even know what to ask me for. I was there in the moments when you doubted your worth because of how others treated you. I was there when doors closed and you blamed yourself. I was there when people walked away and you wondered if maybe you were too much, too broken, too delayed, too flawed, or simply too hard to love. My child, none of those thoughts came from me. I have never looked at you with the harshness you sometimes use against yourself. I have never measured you by your lowest moment. I have never reduced your identity to your mistakes, your fears, or the seasons where you felt lost. When I look at you, I see the one I have carried. I see the one I have protected more times than you realize. I see the one whose tears I did not ignore. I see the one whose story is not over, even if you have felt like you were running out of strength. That is why this call from heaven is waiting for your answer. It is not because I am far away trying to get your attention from some unreachable distance. It is because I am close, and I am asking you to respond to what you already feel stirring inside you. You have sensed that something in your life cannot continue the way it has been. You have felt the strain of carrying too much without peace. You have noticed that certain distractions no longer satisfy you the way they once did. You have started to feel the emptiness beneath things that used to keep you occupied. You have reached places where the noise of the world cannot fully numb the ache in your spirit anymore. That is not because you are failing. That is because I am awakening something in you that refuses to stay asleep. I am drawing your attention back to what matters. I am showing you that the hunger in your soul is not a weakness to hide. It is a sign that you were made for more than survival. You were made for connection with me. You were made for truth that steadies you, for love that does not manipulate you, for peace that does not vanish the moment life becomes uncertain. And if you are honest, you already know that what you have been trying has not healed what hurts most. You may have managed it. You may have covered it. You may have functioned through it. But deep down, you know there are places in you still waiting to breathe again. That is why I am not asking for a dramatic response from you right now. I am not asking you to perform a grand gesture or speak some polished words that sound spiritual enough. I'm asking for something much more real. I am asking you to let this moment become personal. I am asking you to admit that you feel me reaching for you. I am asking you to stop dismissing what your heart already recognizes. Even if all you can do right now is whisper inside yourself, I know this is for me, that is enough to begin. Even if all you can say is, Father, I do not understand everything, But I do not want to miss you. That is enough for me to work with. I do not need perfection to meet you. I need willingness. I do not need a polished version of you. I want the real one. And the real you is the one I have been calling all along. So stay here, my child. Let this first point settle deeply inside you. Let it become more than a line you read and move past. Let it become the moment you finally stop telling yourself this is coincidence. It is not coincidence. It is not random. It is not just another message in a long stream of messages. It is my voice reaching into your day and saying, with all the love of heaven and all the patience of a father who never stopped pursuing you, you are here because I called you, and I am still waiting for your answer. My beloved child, now that you have allowed your heart to stay with me for a little longer, I want you to notice something that has been happening for far longer than this moment on your screen. I have been trying to reach you in quiet ways. Not always through thunder, not always through something dramatic that would make you stop and say, "This must be God." Many times, I came to you softly because I know how tender your heart really is, even when you act like you can handle everything. I know that if I came only through earthquakes and alarms, you might hear the sound and still miss the meaning. So I have often come like a whisper through the cracks of your ordinary life. I met you in pauses you could not explain. I touched you in moments when the room was full, but something inside you still felt strangely alone. I sat beside you in the stillness after the conversation ended, after the laughter faded, after the work was done, when your mind became loud and your soul became honest. You have called some of those moments random. You have called them mood swings, overthinking, emotional exhaustion, or just another strange feeling. But I want you to understand with clarity now that many of those moments were not empty spaces. They were sacred spaces. They were places where I leaned close. They were gentle doorways where I was trying to speak before the world rushed back in and crowded your spirit again. Think about how often you have felt that sudden weight in your chest for no obvious reason, that deep inner nudge that made you stop even if only for a second, that strange pull to pray when you had not planned to pray, that urge to step away from the noise, that subtle discomfort when something in your life looked fine on the outside but did not feel right in your spirit. Those were not accidents. Those were invitations. Those were small holy signals, like soft footsteps in the hallway of your heart, like a candle flickering in a dark room you thought was empty, like a hand resting on your shoulder when you thought you were standing alone. I know you wanted clearer signs. I know you have asked me for something unmistakable, something bright enough to cut through the fog. But sometimes, my child, the fog itself became the sign. The unease became the sign. The fact that certain things no longer satisfied you the way they used to became the sign. The way you kept returning to the same ache no matter how busy you stayed became the sign. It was not punishment. It was not me making your life harder just to get your attention. It was mercy dressed in stillness. It was love arriving quietly because I know that your soul often hears me best when everything else slows down. I have spoken to you in the language of interruption. I have spoken to you through delays that kept you from walking into what would have wounded you. I have spoken to you through disappointments that looked cruel at first but later protected you from greater pain. I have spoken to you through that inward resistance you felt when you were about to say yes to something that looked good but carried no peace. I have spoken to you through memories that return not to torment you, but to show you what still needs healing. I have spoken to you through beauty too, through sunsets that made you pause, through a sun and breeze that felt like comfort when you were close to breaking, through the quiet relief that came after you cried and did not even know why. I have been there in all of it, and I need you now to stop dismissing what your spirit already knows. Stop calling it coincidence every time your heart senses me. Stop brushing it away because it did not come wrapped in lightning. Come closer instead. Pay attention. Sit with me. Breathe. Let the noise settle. Listen with more than your ears. There is a reason I keep coming to you in these softer ways. I am not trying to press you. I am trying to reach you. I am not performing for your attention. I am pursuing your heart. So when you feel that pause again, do not rush past it. When you sense that quiet tug, do not drown it with another distraction. When you feel that inner stirring, do not explain it away before it has a chance to speak. Stay there. Let it deepen. Ask me, Father, are you here? And then wait, because I have been answering that question in 100 quiet ways already. This is why I tell you now with tenderness and with urgency, open the inner door, not just the outer one. Let me speak where the world cannot interrupt. Let me meet you where your defenses are tired. Let me touch the place inside you that already recognizes my voice, even if your mind is still catching up. I have not been absent from your life. I have been present in whispers, in wait, in wonder, in warning, in warmth, and in the strange holy hush that keeps finding you no matter how far you try to run. This is not the first time I have reached for you. It is simply the first time you are beginning to realize how often I already have. And because I love you, I want to take you a little deeper into what those quiet ways have really meant, because you are not just someone I occasionally visit when life becomes difficult. You are mine, and I have been walking with you through details you did not know mattered. I remember the moments you felt unsettled after making a decision that looked sensible to everyone else. I remember when you smiled and said, "It's fine," but inside something and you felt like a small stone in your shoe, impossible to ignore no matter how far you tried to walk. A discomfort was not meant to torment you. It was meant to turn you. It was my way of telling you, slow down. Look again. Do not call this peace just because it is familiar. I have watched you get so used to survival that you almost forgot what real peace feels like. You learned how to keep moving with hidden wounds. You learned how to function while your spirit was thirsty. You learned how to carry your own heart like heavy luggage, dragging it from room to room, season to season, hoping one day it would somehow feel lighter. But I never designed you to live like that. I did not create you to be a strong-looking stranger to your own soul. I created you for closeness with me, for the kind of nearness that changes how you breathe, how you think, how you choose, how you rest. That is why I have been so persistent in these quiet ways. I have been tapping on the glass, not to disturb you without reason, but because I could see you drowning in rooms where everyone else thought you were safe. I have been like a lamp left on in the distance when you wandered through emotional fog, not forcing your steps, but giving you enough light to know there was still a way home. Sometimes I used memory like a mirror. Sometimes I let an old wound rise because I was ready to heal what you were still trying to manage. Sometimes I let your plans pause because your heart needed what your calendar could not give. Sometimes I withheld what you wanted because you were asking for relief while I was preparing restoration, and there is a difference between the two. Relief can make you comfortable for a moment. Restoration can make you whole. You asked for an exit, and I was building an encounter. You wanted the pain to stop, and I wanted the pattern to break. You wanted to feel better quickly, and I wanted you free deeply. So yes, I came quietly, but never weakly. My whispers carried weight. My stillness carried strategy. My silence carried intention. Even now, I want you to notice how your life has had these sacred interruptions that make more sense when you look back. The relationship that did not work even though you begged for it. The opportunity that vanished even though it seemed perfect. The season that felt barren, but kept you from settling for less than what I had prepared. The restlessness that followed you into places where you thought success or affection or comfort would finally make you feel whole. That restlessness was not cruelty. It was a compass. It was me refusing to let your soul go numb in a place that could never nourish it. And now I am asking you, very personally, do not ignore the compass any longer. Stop arguing with what your spirit has already discerned. Stop forcing yourself to stay in what I have been quietly trying to lead you out of. Stop calling your numbness peace. Stop calling your exhaustion normal. Stop calling your distance from me just a phase. Come back into the quiet with intention. Close the door for a moment. Put down the need to appear strong. Step away from the noise that keeps stealing your sensitivity. Sit with me like a child who no longer needs to pretend. Say what is real. Say what hurts. Say what you fear. Say what you miss. Or if you have no words, then simply stay. Let your silence be honest instead of guarded. Let your tears speak if they need to. Let your breathing slow down. Let your shoulders drop. Let your soul stop sprinting. I am here. I have been here. And I am still reaching for you, not with accusation, but with affection. This is why the call from heaven feels personal. Because it is. I know your rhythms. I know your resistance. I know where you hide. I know where you ache. And I know exactly how to reach you without breaking you. That is what a loving father does. I do not force the door off its hinges when I can gently knock and wait for the sound of your heart turning toward me. So hear me now, my child. The whisper was me. The warning was me. The warmth was me. The restlessness was me. The pause was me. The tenderness that would not leave you alone was me. And now I am not just whispering through your circumstances. I am speaking plainly through this moment. Open the door wider. Answer me. Let the quiet become holy instead of empty. Let the stillness become a meeting place instead of a place you avoid. I have been trying to reach you in quiet ways because I wanted to show you something beautiful and unforgettable. Even when you thought heaven was silent, I was already speaking your name. My beloved child, after everything I have said to you, I need to speak to one of the deepest misunderstandings that has been sitting between your heart and my invitation, because many times when you hear me call, you immediately begin thinking about what you must do to be worthy of responding. You start measuring yourself. You start reviewing your flaws. You start remembering your inconsistencies. You start calculating whether you have enough discipline, enough purity, enough emotional stability, enough spiritual momentum, enough strength to give me what you imagine I am demanding. And without realizing it, you turn my invitation into a performance. You hear a call from heaven and assume it is an audition. You hear my voice and think I am asking for a polished version of you, a cleaned up version of you, a more impressive version of you. But that is not what I want. I am not asking for your performance. I am asking for your surrender. There is a world of difference between the two. Performance is exhausting because it depends on image. Surrender is freeing because it depends on honesty. Performance says, let me look strong enough for God. Surrender says, let me be real enough for God. Performance hides the mess and presents the mask. Surrender brings the mess and trusts my love. Performance keeps you standing at a distance, adjusting your clothes, rehearsing your lines, hoping you can say the right things and feel spiritual enough before you come near. Surrender drops all of that and simply comes. That is what I want from you. Not improved first. Not impressive first. Not composed first. Come as you are. If you are tired, come tired. If you are ashamed, come ashamed. If you are confused, come confused. If you are numb, come numb. If you are angry, come angry. If you are afraid, come afraid. If your faith feels small, bring the small faith. If your heart feels scattered, bring the scattered heart. I am not standing here with a checklist in my hand. I am standing here with open arms. I am not asking you to prove that you can transform yourself. I am asking you to stop acting like transformation begins with your performance. It begins with your surrender. I know you have spent years in environments, relationships, and even inner conversations where love felt conditional. You learned that approval could be earned, lost, chased, or withheld. You learned how to become what others needed in order to stay accepted. You learned how to edit yourself, manage yourself, restrain yourself, shape yourself, and sometimes betray yourself just to feel safe. So of course part of you assumes I work the same way. Of course part of you expects me to love the polished version more than the trembling one. But I do not. I never have. I have always been drawn to what is true. I can work with true. I can heal true. I can restore true. I can breathe life into true. What slows your healing is not your weakness. It is your hiding. What delays your peace is not your imperfection. It is your performance. What keeps you spiritually tired is not that you still need growth. It is that you keep trying to manufacture what only surrender can receive. So hear me now with great tenderness. I am not asking you to become a flawless offering. I am asking you to become an open one. I am not asking you to present your strengths and hide your fractures. I am asking you to let me into the fractures because that is where my light often enters best. Imagine your heart as a room where you keep sweeping one corner while stuffing everything else into closets. They may look neat for a moment, but you know what is hidden. I know what is hidden too. And I am not disgusted by it. I am inviting you to unlock the closets. Open the doors. Let the air in. Let me see what you already know I can see. Not because I need information, but because surrender begins where hiding ends. This is why I am calling you now, not to impress me but to trust me. Lay down the need to sound spiritual. Lay down the need to appear strong. Lay down the pressure to have the right words, the right tone, the right emotional state. Just come. Sit with me. Speak plainly. Tell me the truth. Stop trying to hand me a curated version of your soul. Give me the real one. That is the one I came for. That is the one I love. That is the one I can restore. And I want to show you why surrender is so much more powerful than performance, because your mind may still be tempted to think, but surely I should fix myself first. My child, if you could fix yourself deeply enough without me, you would not be this tired. If effort alone could heal the hidden places, you would already be whole. If discipline alone could silence every fear, break every pattern, heal every wound, and restore every dry place, you would not still feel this ache. Discipline matters. Obedience matters. Faithfulness matters. But they become fruitful only when rooted in surrender, not self-salvation. I never asked you to save yourself. I asked you to trust the one who already came to save you. That is why performance always leaves you anxious. It keeps asking, was that enough? Surrender asks a better question. Will I let him love me here? Performance is like trying to paint over cracked walls in a house with a broken foundation. It can look cleaner for a little while, but the strain underneath remains. Surrender lets me go beneath the surface. Surrender hands me the keys to the basement. Surrender says, Father, the foundation feels unstable, and I need you in the parts no one sees. That is where real healing begins. That is where the call from heaven becomes more than inspiration. It becomes transformation. And I want to give you a simple way to remember this so you can live it, not just admire it. Hold on to this word, OPN. Offer me the real you. Put down the mask. Enter my presence honestly. Notice where you are still hiding. Offer me the real you. Put down the mask. Enter my presence honestly. Notice where you are still hiding. That is surrender in motion. Not dramatic, not complicated, but powerful. And because you asked for more command and invitation language, hear my heart with unmistakable clarity now. Stop performing. Stop rehearsing what you think I want to hear. Stop cleaning the outside while the inside is gasping for air. Come closer. Sit down. Breathe slowly. Tell me what is true. Confess what you have been carrying. Admit what you cannot fix. Hand me the fear you keep decorating with "I'm fine." Hand me the habit you keep excusing. Hand me the grief you keep postponing. Hand me the guilt I already paid for. Hand me the control you keep mistaking for safety. Let the tears come if they rise. Let the silence speak if words fail. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your spirit stop performing strength and begin receiving mercy. This is where I want you. Not on a stage in front of me, but in surrender with me. Not trying to earn closeness, but receiving it. Not building a tower of effort, but entering the shelter of grace. And let me say something that may settle your soul more than you realize. I am not more impressed by your spiritual productivity than I am moved by your honest surrender. I am not counting your polished phrases while ignoring your hidden pain. I am not waiting for the perfect devotional mood before I welcome you. I am already near. I am already listening. I am already ready. So if you have been telling yourself, I need to get myself together before I fully respond to God, I want you to let that lie die here. You do not get yourself together and then come to me. You come to me, and together I begin putting you back together. That is the order. That is grace. That is the difference between religion that exhausts and relationship that restores. So answer the call this way, my child, not with performance, but with surrender. Not with polished promises, but with honest availability. Not with a grand speech, but with a real heart. Say, Father, here I am. I do not have everything sorted. I do not understand every layer of myself. I do not know how all of this will unfold. But I am done pretending. I am opening the door. I am bringing you the real me. That is enough. More than enough. Because when surrender becomes your answer, heaven does not require a show. Heaven responds to truth. And I, your Father, will always meet truth with mercy, direction, healing, and the kind of love that can finally teach your soul to rest. My child, as you sit here with your heart open instead of performing, understand that surrender does not stop at your words. It flows through your actions. When you help carry this message forward, you become like the one who sows seed into living soil. And I have said, those who sow generously will also reap generously. Every act of support, through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal gift in the video description, becomes oil in the lamp, keeping this light burning so another weary soul can hear my voice calling them home. You see it. Your generosity becomes a river of living water, reaching hearts that are still hiding, still performing, still waiting to hear the truth you just received. I am inviting you into that harvest with me right now. When you place your hand to this work, I breathe favor upon it, and what you release returns to you as provision, protection, and peace. Let this be your moment to sow into the call from heaven. Do not hesitate. Support this mission now, and let your seed carry my voice to the next soul who needs it. My beloved child, Now that you understand, I am asking for your surrender and not your performance. I want to speak to the part of your heart that still keeps certain doors closed, because surrender sounds beautiful until it reaches the places you have worked hardest to hide. You have let me into some rooms. You have let me into the places that feel manageable, the places you can talk about without trembling too much, the places where you still feel somewhat in control. But there are other rooms inside you that you keep locked, sealed, dim, and guarded. There are places where old pain sits in silence. There are places where shame still whispers. There are places where regret has left fingerprints on your thinking. There are places where disappointment turned into private vows, and those vows quietly shaped how you live now. You may not even realize how much those hidden rooms are affecting the way you hear me, trust me, and receive love. But I know. I see the doors. I know what is behind them. I know which room holds the memory you never fully processed. I know which room stores the betrayal you still revisit in your mind. I know which room contains the grief you postponed because life did not give you permission to stop. I know which room is full of fear about the future, carefully organized so it looks like responsibility when it is really anxiety wearing a neat coat. I know which room contains your anger, the anger you tell yourself you are over, even though it still leaks into your reactions. I know which room holds your self-judgment, the one where you replay your mistakes like a private courtroom where you are both the accused and the punishing voice. And I need you to hear this with all the tenderness I can place inside these words. I am not asking to enter those rooms so I can expose you. I am asking to enter because I want to heal what has been quietly governing you from the shadows. You cannot fully answer a call from heaven while parts of your heart remain under the rule of hidden pain. You can still function. You can still worship. You can still smile. You can still keep moving. But the locked rooms keep affecting your peace, your discernment, your relationships, your reactions, and your ability to rest in me. A locked room does not stay neutral. What you hide still breathes. What you bury still shapes. What you refuse to bring into the light still influences the atmosphere of the whole house. That is why I am speaking to you like this now. I am not asking for a tour because I am curious. I am asking for access because I am your father, and I refuse to let you keep living in a beautiful front room while mold spreads behind the walls. Imagine your heart as a home where the front hall is tidy, the windows are open, the music is soft, and everything looks presentable when others step in. But down the corridor, there are doors you avoid. One has a chair pressed against it. Another has dust gathered under the frame. Another has a lock you barely remember placing there. You walk past them quickly. You tell yourself you will deal with them later. You keep the guests in the front room and call the house fine. But you know what happens when the house gets quiet. You can feel the tension in the walls. You can sense the weight of what remains unopened. My child, let me into those rooms. Move the chair. Turn the handle. Hand me the key. Let the stale air out. Let my light in. Let me stand with you in the room you fear most. I will not stand there with disgust. I will stand there with compassion. I will not look at the mess and shame you for it. I will help you sort it. I will not reopen wounds just to watch you bleed. I will clean what has become infected. I will name what has been hidden. I will show you what belongs to your past and what you keep carrying into your present. I will tell you what is yours to release and what is mine to restore. So hear my commands and invitations clearly now. Stop guarding what is poisoning your peace. Stop calling avoidance healing. Stop pretending the locked rooms are harmless. Open the door. Bring me the memory. Bring me the fear. Bring me the private vow. Bring me the bitterness. Bring me the shame you still wear like an invisible coat. Sit with me in the place you least want to visit. Do not run. You not numb out. You not distract yourself the moment it gets uncomfortable. Stay with me. Breathe with me. Let me touch what you have not trusted anyone else to touch. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. That is courage. That is how surrender becomes real. The call from heaven is not asking for your outer yes while your inner world stays barricaded. I want your whole heart, not because I am demanding territory, but because I know what freedom feels like, and I want you to live there. And I want to tell you something that may change the way you look at those hidden places forever. The rooms you fear most are often the rooms where I want to reveal my gentleness most clearly. You have imagined that if you open those doors, all you will feel is pain. You have assumed that if you revisit what is buried, it will drown you. That is why you keep postponing it. That is why you keep saying, I'll deal with that another day, while another day becomes another season. But I am not calling you into those rooms alone. I am not asking you to relive everything without support. I am not telling you to stare at your pain until it swallows you. I am saying, take my hand and let me walk in with you. That changes everything. Because when I enter the room with you, the memory is no longer just memory. It becomes a meeting place. A wound is no longer just a wound. It becomes a place where my presence can touch what time never fully healed. The shame is no longer a sentence. It becomes something that loses its power when exposed to truth. The anger is no longer a hidden furnace warming the whole house with resentment. It becomes a fire I can extinguish and transform into wisdom. The fear is no longer a silent tenant living rent-free in your future. It becomes a lie I can confront and replace with peace. I want you to think of it like opening a long-shut room in an old house. At first the air feels heavy. Dust rises. The light stings a little because the darkness had become familiar. But then the window opens. Fresh air enters. You begin to see what is actually there, not just what your imagination feared. Some things are broken. Some things are outdated. Some things were precious once but are no longer meant to stay. Some things need to be thrown out. Some things need to be repaired. Some things were never yours to keep. That is what I do with you. I sort with tenderness. I restore with wisdom. I remove with purpose. I do not rush you, but I do not let you remain buried either. If you need a simple way to remember how to do this with me, keep this word close. OPEN. Observe what you avoid. Present it to me honestly. Enter the memory with me, not alone. And notice what I am asking you to release. Observe what you avoid. Present it to me honestly. Enter the memory with me, not alone. And notice what I am asking you to release. Let that guide you, my child. And now let me speak to you in the direct, command-heavy way you asked for, because your heart needs both tenderness and movement. Unlock the door. Stop making a home around your hidden pain. Stop decorating what I want to deliver you from. Name the room. Tell me what it is. Say, Father, this is the place I never wanted to revisit. And stay. Do not rush to close it again. Let me show you what was planted there. Let me show you what grew there. Let me show you what must leave. Invite me into the room of rejection. Invite me into the room of grief. Invite me into the room of sexual shame, family wounds, financial fear, hidden resentment, quiet jealousy, self-hatred, or spiritual disappointment if that is what sits there. Do not sanitize it. Do not rename it. Tell the truth. I can do so much with truth. I can heal what you expose. I can restore what you surrender. I can cleanse what you stop hiding. I can fill what you finally empty before me. And let me say this very personally before we move on. You are not the locked room. You are not the worst memory in it. You are not the mistake sitting on the shelf. You are not the betrayal that happened there. You are not the shame that echoes in that corner. Those things may have occupied the room, but they do not define the house. You are mine. Your identity is not the darkness you kept behind the door. Your identity is the beloved child I am restoring room by room, breath by breath, truth by truth. So answer the call from heaven this way today, not by speaking a grand promise, but by opening one door. Just one. That is enough. One door. One honest prayer. One hidden place brought into the light. One room where you finally say, Father, come in. And when you do, you will begin to discover something you have needed for longer than you realize. The locked rooms were never the end of your story. They were the places where my love was waiting to enter next. My beloved child, now that I have called you to open the locked rooms inside your heart, I need to speak to something even deeper, because hidden pain does not just sit quietly in the background. Over time, pain often convinces you to make agreements with it. You may not realize you have done this, but I see it clearly. There are things you started believing because of what hurt you. There are conclusions you reached in wounded seasons that became silent laws in your life. You did not write them down, but you have been living by them. When someone betrayed you, perhaps something in you quietly decided, I should never trust deeply again. When a prayer felt delayed, perhaps something in you concluded, I should not expect too much from God or I will be disappointed. When rejection hit a tender place, maybe you began living as if, I must prove my worth before I can be loved. When loss tore through your heart, perhaps you learned to expect the worst before joy could settle. When your efforts were overlooked, perhaps you made a pact with striving and told yourself, if I do more, maybe I will finally feel enough. My child, those are agreements. They are not always loud. They are often quiet, reasonable sounding, and deeply influential. Pain has a way of making lies feel practical. Fear has a way of dressing itself like wisdom. Wounds can become teachers if you do not bring them to me, and wounded teachers always instruct from survival, not truth. That is why I am speaking firmly here. I am not only interested in healing your emotions. I want to break the agreements that have been governing your choices. Because if the agreement stays in place, the wound keeps reproducing itself in new forms. You may heal on the surface, but the pattern continues underneath. You may feel better for a season, but the same triggers keep returning. You may pray for peace, but if a hidden agreement is still active, it keeps pulling your thoughts back into the same old groove. This is why some of your struggles have felt cyclical. It is not because I have abandoned you. It is because certain lies were never fully evicted. And today, I am putting my finger on them. Not to embarrass you, not to overwhelm you, but to break their authority. You were never meant to build your life around conclusions formed in pain. You were never meant to shape your future according to what wounded you in the past. You were never meant to let betrayal become your compass, rejection become your identity, fear become your counselor, or disappointment become your prophecy. Yet I know how easy it is. When pain hits deeply, it does not just hurt. It interprets. It whispers. It assigns meaning. It says, see it. This is what always happens. It says, do not open up again. It says, protect yourself first. It says, you will be left. It says, you are too much. It says, you are not enough. It says, nothing good lasts. It says, keep control or you will be crushed. And if you hear those whispers long enough without bringing them into my light, they begin to sound like your own voice. That is why I am interrupting now. That is why this call from heaven is not soft comfort only. It is also holy confrontation. I am confronting the false covenants you made with pain. I am confronting the inner vows you built in wounded places. I am confronting the private agreements that have been shaping your reactions, your relationships, your expectations, and even the way you pray. And I want you to hear my command with great love and great force. Break agreement with the lie. Do not negotiate with it. Do not manage it. Do not decorate it with spiritual language. Expose it. Name it. Bring it to me. Say it plainly. Father, because of what happened, I started believing this. Then let me answer it. Let me confront it. Let me untie what was bound in fear. Let me silence what pain taught you to repeat. Do not protect the lie because it once helped you survive. Survival is not the same as freedom. What kept you functioning in a dark season may now be keeping you bound in a brighter one. So stop defending the false agreement. Stop living by rules your wounds wrote. Come closer. Tell me what pain taught you. Let me show you what truth says instead. And because I want this to go beyond emotion and into actual freedom, I need to help you see how these agreements break. They do not break merely because you become aware of them. They break when truth is spoken, received, and practiced where the lie once ruled. This is not about pretending the pain never happened. It happened. I know it did. I was there when it happened. I saw the look on your face. I felt the ache in your chest. I watched the moment your trust folded in on itself. I know what was taken, what was delayed, what was mishandled, what was unfair, what still makes your eyes sting if you sit with it too long. I am not asking you to deny reality. I am asking you to stop letting reality be interpreted by pain alone. I want to reinterpret your story through my presence. I want to tell you what was true even in the moment that hurt. You were not abandoned. You were wounded. There is a difference. You were not worthless. You were mishandled. There is a difference. You were not unseen. You were misunderstood. There is a difference. You were not rejected by me. You were redirected, refined, or revealed in ways you could not yet understand. There is a difference. Those differences matter because the enemy of your soul often builds whole strongholds out of one wrong conclusion. A single lie can become a landlord if it is never challenged. So challenge it with me now. If you need a simple way to do that, remember this word, RENEW. Recognize the lie. Expose the agreement. Name the wound honestly. Exchange it for my truth. Walk in the new pattern. Recognize the lie. Expose the agreement. Name the wound honestly. Exchange it for my truth. Walk in the new pattern. That is how the cycle begins to break. Not overnight by pretending, but deeply by partnering with me. And now hear my direct commands and invitations, because this is a sacred moment and I do not want you to stay passive. Identify the agreement. Say it out loud if you can. Write it down if you need to. Do not let it stay vague. Pull it into the light. Then reject it. Tell me, Father, I renounce the lie that I must always be guarded to be safe. Tell me, Father, I renounce the lie that I am hard to love. Tell me, Father, I renounce the lie that disappointment defines my future. Tell me, Father, I renounce the lie that I must perform to be worthy. Then replace it. Receive what I say. Let my truth become your new agreement. Agree with me instead. Agree that you are loved before you achieve. Agree that I can be trusted even when timing stretches. Agree that what happened to you is not the same thing as who you are. Agree that your future is not handcuffed to your worst season. Agree that your tenderness is not weakness. Agree that surrender is safer than control when it is placed in my hands. Then walk it out. When the old thought returns, answer it. When the old reflex rises, pause and choose differently. When the old fear starts narrating, interrupt it with truth. That is how freedom becomes embodied. That is how healing becomes more than a moment. And let me say something that may steady you right now. I am not ashamed that you made agreements in pain. I understand why you did. You were trying to survive. You were trying to make sense of chaos. You were trying to build safety from broken pieces. I do not condemn the frightened version of you who reached for false shelter. I come to rescue that version of you. I come to free that version of you. I come to teach that version of you that you do not need to keep sleeping with your armor on. So let this be the moment, my child. Break the agreement and the false covenant. Cancel the lie. Tear up the contract your wound signed in fear. Give it to me. Let me put my truth where your pain once wrote its rules. Because the call from heaven is not only asking you to hear my voice, it is asking you to let my voice become louder than the conclusions your suffering taught you. And when that happens, something beautiful begins. Your future stops being managed by old pain and starts being guided by living truth. That is what I want for you. That is what I am calling you into. So come now. Renounce the lie. Receive the truth. Walk forward lighter. The agreement you made with pain does not get to govern you any longer. I am here, and I am breaking it. My beloved child, now that I have taught you to let stillness come before panic, I want to speak directly into one of the places where your heart has felt the most confusion, because there is a question that has been quietly following you for a long time. It may not always be spoken, but it has lived in the background of many of your prayers. Why has this taken so long? You have looked at certain promises, certain dreams, certain prayers, certain healing processes, certain doors you believed would open, and you have wondered why the dial stretched the way it did. You have watched others move faster in areas where you felt stuck. You have seen people receive things you begged me for while you were still waiting. You have looked at your own life and thought, if this is really from God, why does it feel so delayed? I know how that question has worn on you. I know the exhaustion that can build when hope is asked to stay alive in a long hallway. I know how delay can start to feel personal. I know how the waiting can begin to whisper false things about me and false things about you. It can tell you that I forgot you. It can tell you that maybe you misunderstood me. It can tell you that perhaps you are being overlooked, punished, disqualified, or simply left behind. But I need you to hear me with deep clarity now. What you call delay, I have often been using as preparation. Not every closed door was rejection. Not every pause was absence. Not every unanswered prayer was a no. Many of the places where you thought nothing was happening were the very places where the deepest work was being done. You were measuring progress by movement you could see, while I was shaping things you could not yet measure. You were looking for outward change, while I was strengthening inward capacity. You were asking for arrival, while I was building the kind of heart that could sustain what was coming. My child, I do not delay because I enjoy your frustration. I do not stretch time because I am careless with your feelings. I do not let you wait because I forgot what I promise. I use waiting because waiting reveals, refines, and readies. Waiting shows you what you are leaning on. Waiting exposes the places where your peace still depends on outcomes. Waiting uncovers the parts of you that want the blessing more than the transformation. Waiting tests what is fragile, strengthens what is real, and burns away what cannot go with you into the next season. Think of a seed beneath the soil. From above, it looks like nothing. It looks hidden, buried, forgotten. But under the surface, something critical is happening. The shell is breaking. The roots are reaching. The life inside is pushing downward before it ever appears upward. If you judged that seed too early, you would call it failure. If you dug it up in impatience, you would damage what was quietly becoming strong. That is how many of your seasons have been. You have felt buried, but you were not buried to be abandoned. You were planted to be prepared. You have felt hidden, but you were not hidden because I was ashamed of you. You were hidden because roots were being formed. You have felt like things were breaking apart, but some of what broke was the shell that could not remain if what I placed in you was going to grow. So stop calling every quiet season empty. Stop naming every slow season wasted. Stop assuming that because the fruit is not visible yet, the roots are not growing. Look again with spiritual eyes. Revisit your waiting with me beside you. I will show you what was being formed. I will show you what I was protecting. I will show you what I was uprooting. I will show you what I was teaching you to stop depending on. I will show you how many times my silence was not emptiness but craftsmanship. I was working in foundations, not decorations. I was building depth, not merely momentum. And I want you to receive this personally because it matters. Some of the very things you now crave would have crushed you had they arrived earlier. Some relationships, opportunities, assignments, blessings, and breakthroughs would have exposed weaknesses you did not yet know were there. Some answers would have fed your pride, intensified your fear, or deepened your dependence on the wrong things if I had handed them to you too soon. I was not withholding to wound you. I was timing to protect you. So stop resenting the process. Stop talking about your waiting as if it proves my neglect. Come closer and ask me, Father, what were you preparing in me? And listen. Let me reinterpret the timeline. Let me redeem your memory of the wait. Let me show you that the clock in your hand is not the only clock that matters. I see the whole field, not just the patch of ground beneath your feet. I see the storm beyond the horizon, the soil condition, the timing of the rain, the season of pruning, the roots beneath the surface, the fruit that must ripen, the weight your branches will need to carry. I see what you cannot see, and I have never been careless with your becoming. And because I know your heart still needs something practical to hold, I want to show you how to walk through delay without letting it poison your soul. Waiting can either deepen you or embitter you, and the difference is not found in the calendar. It is found in what you do with me while the door is still closed. That is why I am inviting you now to stop using the waiting room as a place of suspicion and start using it as a place of preparation. Do not sit there with folded arms and a wounded spirit, rehearsing what has not happened yet. Turn the waiting room into a workshop. Turn it into a sanctuary. Turn it into a place where your roots go deeper than your frustration. If you need a simple guide for this, remember this word, GROW. Give me your timeline. Receive what I am shaping. Obey in the small things. Watch for hidden progress. Give me your timeline. Receive what I am shaping. Obey in the small things. Watch for hidden progress. Give me your timeline. Stop clenching around dates, deadlines, and comparisons. Hand me the schedule you keep using to measure my faithfulness. Receive what I am shaping. Ask me what this season is producing in your character, your discernment, your endurance, your humility, your dependence. Obey in the small things. Do not freeze because the big answer has not come yet. Be faithful in what is already in front of you. Watch for hidden progress. Stop looking only for dramatic change. Notice the quieter evidence. Are you reacting differently? Are you hearing me more clearly? Are you setting healthy boundaries? Are you becoming less impressed by what once tempted you? Are you learning to stay steady where you used to spiral? That is progress, even if the external breakthrough is still on its way. And now hear my direct commands and invitations, because I want this to move from insight into surrender. Stop comparing your timing to someone else's. Stop calling yourself late. Stop punishing yourself because your path is not linear. Stop measuring my faithfulness by visible speed. Lift your eyes from the calendar and put them on my face. Ask me what this season is building. Stay faithful in the unseen. Keep showing up in the secret place. Keep obeying what I already said. Keep tending the soil under your feet. Do not dig up the seed to check if it is growing. Do not abandon the field because the harvest is not immediate. Water what I gave you. Yard what I planted in you. Refuse the lie that waiting means wasting. Refuse the lie that hidden means forgotten. Refuse the lie that slow means wrong. Let the process do its work. Let the roots deepen. Let the shell break. Let the old self that needed constant visible reassurance become less dominant. Let trust mature. Let desire purify. Let endurance strengthen. Let your soul learn how to remain near me without demanding instant proof. That kind of maturity is not punishment. It is treasure. It is the kind of inner weight that can hold what heaven is about to release without collapsing under it. And I want to circle back to something I said earlier, because it matters here more than ever. Do not confuse delay with rejection. I know you have done that before. I know you have stood in a closed hallway and decided the house was not for you. I know you have watched a door stay shut and assumed the promise must have expired. But sometimes the delay was not a denial of the destination. It was a mercy of deeper construction. Sometimes the walls were still being reinforced. Sometimes the foundation beneath the blessing was not finished. Sometimes you were still being healed from the very things that would sabotage what you were asking for. So let this be the moment you stop interpreting your waiting through wounded eyes. Let me interpret it for you. Let me tell you what it was. Let me show you what it is becoming. Let me give you back the years you labeled nothing happened and reveal how full they actually were. The call from heaven is not only asking you to answer today, it is also asking you to stop despising the road that brought you here. Your waiting was not empty. Your delay was not proof against you. Your slower season was not a sentence. I was there. I was working. I was preparing. And if you let this truth settle deeply, the same timeline that once hurt you will begin to strengthen you. You will stop saying, "Why did it take so long?" and start saying, "Father, thank you that you did not give it before I was ready." My beloved child, now that I have called you out of survival and into communion, I need to speak with even greater clarity about something that has quietly delayed your healing more than you realize. Because there are places, patterns, conversations, habits, and emotional environments that keep reopening what I have been trying to restore in you. And I say this to you with deep love, not frustration. I need you to stop returning to the places that keep breaking you. You already know some of them. Your spirit has felt the strain. Your peace has worn you. Your body has reacted. Your discernment has stirred. But because some of those places are familiar, because some of them once felt comforting, because some of them are tied to people you care about, because some of them give you temporary relief or temporary validation or temporary distraction, you keep walking back into them even after I have shown you what they do to your soul. My child, familiarity is not the same thing as safety. What is familiar can still be harmful. What feels known can still be draining. What once felt like home can become the room where your peace slowly suffocates. I know this is difficult for you because part of you wants to believe that if you just approach it differently next time, if you just stay a little stronger, if you just say the right thing, if you just manage your emotions better, perhaps it will not hurt the same way again. But there are some places where your healing cannot deepen while your feet keep returning to what tears it open. There are some doors I am asking you not to knock on again. There are some emotional wells you keep drawing from that always leave you thirstier. There are some conversations you keep replaying, some people you keep over-explaining yourself to, some habits you keep excusing, some online spaces you keep revisiting, some fantasies you keep nursing, some private patterns you keep justifying, and every time you return, you tell yourself it is small, but your spirit feels the bruise. You cannot keep touching the same hot surface and act surprised when your hand burns. You cannot keep sleeping in smoke and wonder why your lungs feel weak. You cannot keep walking barefoot over broken glass and call the bleeding mysterious. I am not speaking harshly to shame you. I am speaking clearly because love sometimes must become direct when tenderness alone has been ignored. I have been whispering about these places for a long time. I have nudged you. I have unsettled you. I have taken your peace in certain moments so you would notice. I have made you uncomfortable in spaces where your flesh wanted comfort but your spirit needed distance. The discomfort was mercy. That loss of peace was mercy. That inner heaviness was mercy. It was me saying, "My child, not this again. Do not sit here. Do not drink from this. Do not build your next season from the same poisoned soil." I need you to understand that healing is not only about what I do in you when you are with me. It is also about what you stop partnering with when you leave the secret place. If you ask me to heal your heart, but then you keep feeding the wound, you create confusion inside yourself. If you ask me for peace, but then you keep walking into atmospheres that train your nervous system toward fear, you are making agreement with what I am trying to free you from. If you ask me to restore your identity, but then you keep revisiting voices that distort it, you are re-entering rooms I told you to leave. So hear me now with all the fatherly authority of love. Stop going back. Stop reopening the conversation I asked you to release. Stop checking the thing that keeps you emotionally spiraling. Stop revisiting the relationship dynamic that leaves you smaller every time. Stop touching the pattern that keeps draining your clarity. Stop making excuses for what your peace has already exposed. This is not me depriving you. This is me protecting you. This is not me trying to make your life smaller. This is me clearing space for something cleaner, truer, calmer, and more alive. Imagine a bird that has been rescued from oil and carefully cleaned, feather by feather, wing by wing, only to keep flying back to the same black water because it still remembers the shoreline. That is what you have done in some places, my child. You have let me wash you, soothe you, steady you, speak to you, only to drift back toward what coated your wings in heaviness. But I am calling you higher now. I am not angry that you went back. I am inviting you to stop. I am inviting you to learn. I am inviting you to trust that what I am asking you to leave behind is not where your life is. Your life is not in that room. Your peace is not in that cycle. Your identity is not in that person's opinion. Your comfort is not in that habit. Your future is not waiting in the place that keeps wounding you. So step back. Step away. Close the tab. End the pattern. Walk out of the room. Let the silence feel unfamiliar for a little while if it must. Let the absence of the old thing make you ache for a moment if it must. But do not go back just because withdrawal from what wounded you feels strange. Stay with me. Let me retrain your cravings. Let me re-educate your peace. Let me show you what clean air feels like. And I want to take you deeper into this, because I know part of you still worries that if you truly stop returning to those old places, you will feel lonely, empty, exposed, or uncertain about what comes next. That fear is real, and I do not dismiss it. Many of the things that hurt you also comforted you in complicated ways. Some of them gave you distraction when you did not want to feel. Some gave you attention when you felt unseen. Some gave you a false sense of control when your life felt unstable. Some gave you emotional intensity that you mistook for intimacy. Some gave you a predictable pain, and predictable pain can feel safer than unknown healing. I know that. I know how human that is. But I need you to hear me clearly. The ache you feel when leaving what harmed you is not proof you should return. It is often the sensation of detox. It is often the discomfort of your soul learning how to live without what it once leaned on. That discomfort is not your enemy. It is the bridge. Walk it with me. Do not confuse missing something with needing it. Do not confuse craving something with being called to it. Do not confuse familiarity with destiny. This is where you must become brave in practical ways. If you need a simple guide for this, remember this word, alieve. Listen to the loss of peace. Exit what keeps reopening wounds. Avoid the false comfort. Value your healing more than your habit. Listen to the loss of peace. Exit what keeps reopening wounds. Avoid the false comfort. Value your healing more than your habit. Let that sit in you. Listen to the loss of peace. Stop overriding what your spirit already knows. Exit what keeps reopening wounds. Do not keep negotiating with what has already proven its fruit. Avoid the false comfort. Do not let temporary relief steal long-term wholeness. Value your healing more than your habit. Choose your future over your familiar pain. And now receive my commands and invitations directly, because this is a turning point and I want no vagueness left in your heart. Leave the room. Unfollow the trigger. Delete the number if you must. Stop revisiting the old thread. Stop feeding the secret cycle. Turn off the show that stirs what I am asking you to stir. Put boundaries where you kept calling things complicated. Name the pattern without softening it. Refuse the emotional breadcrumb that keeps pulling you back into the same maze. Protect your mornings. Protect your evenings. Protect the first hour after I speak to you. Guard what I am building in you. Choose the clean path even if it feels quiet. Choose the holy path even if it feels lonely for a while. Choose the truthful path even if your flesh complains. And let me say something that may steady you in the discomfort. When I ask you to stop returning to what keeps breaking you, I am not merely taking something away. I am making room for recovery. I am making room for your nervous system to settle. I am making room for your thoughts to clear. I am making room for your identity to strengthen. I am making room for your heart to stop bleeding where it has been silently cut over and over again. I am making room for new affection, new patterns, new reflexes, new desires, new relationships, new rhythms, and a new inner atmosphere that no longer depends on what harms you. That is why this matters so much. The call from heaven is not only asking for your attention and your surrender. It is asking for your separation from what keeps sabotaging the healing you say you want. Do not be offended by that. Be grateful for it. Boundaries are not punishment. Distance is not rejection. Closing the door is not cruelty when the room behind it keeps filling with smoke. So answer me now, my child. Choose your healing. Choose your peace. Choose your future. Walk away from the thing that keeps teaching your soul how to ache. Do not romanticize what I am asking you to release. Do not turn the wound into a shrine. Do not keep visiting the grave of what I have already told you is over. Let it stay buried. Let the old pattern lose access. Let the old place become a testimony, not a residence. You do not need to prove that you are strong enough to revisit it. Real strength is knowing when not to return. And I, your Father, am telling you now with gentleness and firmness together, stop going back. I am leading you forward. My child, as you step away from what once drained your soul, I am also leading you toward what builds my kingdom. When you choose to support the spreading of my word through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal offering in the video description, you are not merely giving. You are planting seeds in a field of redemption. I have declared, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Your generosity becomes bread for the hungry heart and light for those still wandering in smoke-filled rooms. There are souls who will hear this message because someone like you chose to help carry the fire forward. This is not a small act. It is a holy partnership with heaven's work in this hour. And I promise you this, what you release into my hands will never return empty, for I bless the hands that sow into my harvest. So step forward now, give, support, and help send this call from heaven to the next life waiting to be restored. My beloved child, now that I have spoken to you about the places you must stop returning to, I need to speak to another place where many hearts get stuck, because sometimes even after you physically step away from what wounded you, you still carry it within you. You may leave the room, but the room stays in your mind. You may end the conversation, but the argument keeps replaying inside you. You may distance yourself from the person, but their voice still echoes in your self-worth. That is why I need to speak to you about forgiveness, because some of the pain you are still carrying is not only attached to what happened, it is attached to what remains unhealed inside you because you keep gripping the offense like it is your last piece of justice. I understand why. I understand how deeply some people hurt you. I understand that some wounds were not small. Some were not misunderstandings. Some were betrayals that changed the atmosphere of your life. Some were words spoken over you in vulnerable years. Some were abandonment when you needed presence. Some were manipulation, dishonesty, neglect, cruelty, rejection, or selfishness that left marks you did not know how to process at the time. I am not minimizing any of it. I am not asking you to pretend it did not matter. It mattered. I saw it. I was there. I know the exact moment something in you tightened. I know the night you replayed it and could not sleep. I know the way your body still reacts when the memory surfaces. I know the resentment that sometimes feels justified because the wound was real. But hear me carefully, my child. Forgiveness is not letting them win. It is letting me heal you. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was acceptable. It is refusing to let what they did keep governing your inner world. Forgiveness is not calling evil good. It is placing justice back into hands strong enough to carry it without poisoning the heart. Forgiveness is not pretending trust should instantly return. Trust and forgiveness are not the same thing. Boundaries and forgiveness can walk together. Wisdom and forgiveness can walk together. Distance and forgiveness can walk together. You do not have to re-enter the burning building to prove you have forgiven. But you do have to stop sleeping with the smoke in your lungs. That is what bitterness does. It keeps the event alive inside you. It turns your heart into a courtroom that never adjourns. It makes you the judge, the witness, the wounded party, and the exhausted one who has to keep carrying the case. My child, you were never meant to live in that courtroom. You were meant to bring the case to me. I am not asking you to release it because I do not care. I am asking you to release it because I care enough to not let it keep corroding you from the inside. Bitterness feels powerful at first because it promises protection. It tells you, stay angry and you will stay safe. It tells you, keep the wound open so you do not forget. It tells you, if you release this, they get away with it. But bitterness lies. It does not protect your heart. It hardens it. It does not keep you safe. It keeps you reactive. It does not preserve your dignity. It slowly steals your tenderness, your clarity, your rest, and sometimes even your ability to receive love from people who never harmed you. That is why I am calling you here. I am not asking you to deny your pain. I am asking you to stop building your inner home around it. I am asking you to bring the person, the memory, the injustice, the betrayal, the words, the loss, the ache, and lay them before me. Not because I forgot, but because I remember and I am righteous. I know how to deal with what was done. I know how to defend you without deforming you. I know how to hold justice without turning your heart into stone. So hear my commands and invitations now. Stop rehearsing the offense like it is preserving your dignity. Stop feeding the internal trial. Stop touching the bruise to make sure it still hurts. Bring the wound to me. Name the person if you need to. Say what happened plainly. Tell me how it affected you. Let the anger surface in honesty instead of leaking in hidden ways. Then release the dead. Hand it over. Do not clutch it with trembling fingers and call that strength. Let me carry what you were never designed to carry. Forgiveness is not a gift to the offender first. It is oxygen for your own soul. And I want you breathing again. And because I know forgiveness can sound beautiful but feel impossible in the body, in the memory, and in the nervous system, I want to help you understand how this actually works. Forgiveness is often less like flipping a switch and more like opening a clenched hand, sometimes again and again, until what you once gripped no longer has the same power to define you. That does not make it fake. It makes it real. You may need to forgive and then notice the resentment return tomorrow. If it does, do not panic. Return to me again. Release it again. You are not failing because the pain echoes. You are practicing freedom. Think of it like pulling a splinter from skin that has grown around it. The body learned to adapt around the wound. It became tender there. The splinter may feel almost like part of you because it had been embedded so long. But that does not mean it belongs. When it is removed, the area may sting. It may feel strange. You may keep reaching for it out of habit. But healing begins when what does not belong is no longer lodged inside. That is what forgiveness is. It is the removal of what has been living inside you longer than it should. If you need a simple guide, remember this word, RELEASE. Reveal the wound honestly. Entrust justice to me. Loosen your grip daily. Establish wise boundaries. Allow the healing process. Speak blessing over your own future. Reveal the wound honestly. Do not bypass it. Tell the truth about what happened. Entrust justice to me. Stop making your heart carry the gavel. Loosen your grip daily. Some releases are repeated, and that is still holy. Establish wise boundaries. Forgiveness does not mean foolish access. Allow the healing process. Do not expect your emotions to catch up instantly, but do keep walking with me. Speak blessing over your own future. Stop letting the offense write your next chapter. And now hear my direct commands and invitations, because I want you to move, not merely admire the idea. Bring me the face you still avoid in your mind. Bring me the name that still tightens your chest. Bring me the old wound that still makes your voice harden. Say it. Tell me the story. Let the tears come if they rise. Let the anger surface if it is there. But do not keep it buried in hidden chambers where it ferments. Lay it before me. Then say, even if your voice shakes, Father, I release this person from my private prison. I hand you the dead. I choose not to carry what they owe me any longer. If that feels impossible, start smaller. Father, I am willing to become willing. That is enough for me to begin. Then protect the process. Stop replaying imaginary revenge conversations. Stop scrolling their life to reopen the wound. Stop checking whether they regret it enough to justify your pain. Stop waiting for their apology to become your permission slip for healing. Some people will never apologize the way you deserve. Some never will understand the depth of what they did. If you tie your freedom to their awareness, you will stay chained to someone who may never even turn around. I do not want that for you. I want your freedom in my hands, not in theirs. And let me say something that may be hard but healing. Forgiveness does not erase the scar, but it changes what the scar means. It stops being a source of poison and becomes a place of wisdom. It stops being a private altar to the offense and becomes a testimony that what hurt you did not get to own you forever. That is the miracle I want in you. The call from heaven is not only asking you to answer me in surrender, in stillness, in discernment, in separation from old patterns. It is also asking you to trust me enough to let me carry justice while I restore your tenderness. I do not want your heart hardened into a weapon. I want it healed into strength. I do not want you living in suspicion because of what one season taught you. I want you free enough to love wisely, trust slowly if needed, discern clearly, and still remain soft where I tell you to remain soft. So come now, my child. Open your hand. Release the debt. Give me the case file. Step out of the courtroom. Let the gavel fall from your grip. Let me be God where you have been trying to be judge. Forgiveness is not letting them win. It is letting me heal you. And I am more than able to do it. My beloved child, after everything I have spoken to you about leaving the places that keep breaking you and releasing the people who wounded you, I need to speak into the pressure you keep placing on yourself to understand everything before you move. This pressure has slowed you down more than you realize. It has made you stand still in moments when I was inviting you forward. It has turned discernment into overanalysis. It has made you confuse clarity with total explanation. You have often believed that if you could just understand the full picture, then you would finally feel safe enough to obey. If you could just know exactly how this season ends, exactly what this decision leads to, exactly how people will react, exactly what will happen after you say yes, then maybe you could move without trembling. But my child, that is not how trust works. I am not asking you to understand everything. I am asking you to trust me with the next step. A difference matters more than you know. Understanding the whole road feels powerful because it gives your mind the illusion of control. Trusting me with the next step feels vulnerable because it requires surrender. That is why you keep circling the same questions. That is why you keep standing at thresholds, waiting for certainty that never comes in the form you want. You want the full map, and I keep giving you the next lamp. You want the entire staircase lit, and I keep lighting the next stair. You want to know the whole conversation, the whole outcome, the whole timeline, the whole process, the whole future. And I keep saying, come here. Take this one step with me. Not because I enjoy withholding information, but because intimacy grows differently than control. If I gave you everything at once, your mind might feel calmer for a moment, but your dependence on me might remain shallow. If I handed you the entire blueprint, you might focus on the structure and miss the builder. I am not trying to keep you in the dark. I am teaching you how to walk with me in living trust. Think of a child walking with a loving father through a dark path at dusk. The child keeps asking, what's ahead? What's behind those trees? How long until we arrive? What if there is something in the dark? The father may answer some things, But more importantly, he keeps holding the child's hand and saying, "Stay with me. Watch your step. I'm here. Keep moving." The safety is not in full visual access. The safety is in whose hand you are holding. That is what I need you to learn now. Your peace cannot depend on having every answer before you obey. Your peace must learn to rest in my nearness while some answers are still unfolding. I know that challenges your nervous system. I know it presses on the places in you that were hurt by unpredictability. I know it feels costly because uncertainty has often felt dangerous in your story. But hear me carefully, uncertainty with me is not the same as abandonment. A path you do not fully understand is not the same as a path without guidance. The next step without a complete explanation is not the same as being left alone. I am with you in the not yet. I am with you in the unclear middle. I am with you in the hallway before the door opens. I am with you in the unanswered question. I am with you in the step that feels smaller than you expected. I am with you in the move that does not look dramatic enough to satisfy your mind, but is exactly the obedience your soul needs. That is why I am asking you now to release the demand for total understanding. Stop trying to force revelation before readiness. Stop interrogating every step until you talk yourself out of movement. Stop demanding from me the kind of certainty that would let you avoid trust. You do not need all the answers to begin. You need enough grace for the next act of obedience. And I have already given you more than you think. I have shown you what to stop. I have shown you what to release. I have shown you what to leave. I have shown you what to return to. I have shown you where your peace lies. I have shown you what my voice sounds like. I have shown you the difference between performance and surrender. You already know more than your fear admits. So stop waiting for the sky to split open when I have already whispered the next instruction. Take the next step. Make the call. End the pattern. Open the word. Set the boundary. Speak the truth. Rest tonight. Return tomorrow. Pray honestly. Stay with me. The next step is holy because I am in it. Do not despise it because it is not the whole staircase. Trust me there. And I want to help you live this in a way that becomes practical and steady, because some of your exhaustion has not come from the step itself. It has come from trying to solve 5 future chapters while I am only asking you to live today with me. That kind of mental overreach drains you. It creates imaginary burdens. It makes you carry decisions that do not belong to this hour. It turns one invitation into 10 layers of fear. You start asking, but what if I obey and then this happens? What if I say yes and then that person leaves? What if I release this and then I feel lonely? What if I trust and then I get hurt? What if I take the step and it does not work? My child, you can spend your whole life standing at the doorway of obedience, trying to calculate every possible storm, and still never feel fully safe. That is because safety was never meant to come from perfect forecasting. It was meant to come from practiced trust. If you need a simple guide for this, remember this word, STP. Surrender the full picture. Trust me with today. Execute the next obedience. Place tomorrow back in my hands. Surrender the full picture. Trust me with today. Execute the next obedience. Place tomorrow back in my hands. Let that become your rhythm. Surrender the full picture. Stop gripping the need to know everything. Trust me with today. Let this day be enough. Execute the next obedience. Do the clear thing I have already highlighted. Place tomorrow back in my hands. Refuse to carry outcomes that do not belong to this moment. And now hear my commands and invitations directly, because I want this to land in your body, not just your mind. Stop demanding the whole map. Put down the pressure to predict everything. Release the fantasy that you can outthink every risk. Take a breath. Look at what I have already made clear. Choose one act of obedience. Do it. Then stop. Do not sprint ahead mentally. Do not let fear add 10 extra assignments to the one thing I ask. Trust me with the after. Trust me with the reaction. Trust me with the outcome. Trust me with the timeline. Trust me with what you cannot yet see. I am not calling you into recklessness. I am calling you into responsive trust. There is wisdom in planning, yes, but there is bondage in obsessive forecasting. There is maturity in discernment, yes, but there is paralysis in endless hesitation. Learn the difference. Let my peace be your teacher. If you lose peace because you are overthinking, come back. If your body tightens because you are trying to solve everything at once, come back. If your mind starts spiraling into 5 years from now, come back. Return to the next step. Return to my voice. Return to the present place where grace is actually available. I want to say something deeply personal here. Some of the most beautiful parts of your future are hidden from you right now, not as punishment, but as protection. If you saw the whole journey, you might fear the hard parts and run. If you saw the whole journey, you might worship the beautiful parts and skip the growth. If you saw the whole journey, you might try to control what should only be received. So I keep portions hidden while I keep myself present. That is not cruelty. That is fatherly wisdom. I am not trying to confuse you. I am trying to keep you close. The call from heaven is not asking you to become all-knowing. It is asking you to become willing. It is asking you to trust me enough to move when you can only see the next faithful act. That is how real transformation happens. Not in giant leaps that flatter the ego, but in surrendered steps that build quiet strength. So come now, my child. Stop standing in the doorway with 1,000 questions. Bring me the questions, yes, but do not let them become excuses. Ask what you need to ask. Listen, and move. Let your yes become motion. Let your trust become action. Let the next step become sacred because you take it with me. You do not need to understand everything to be safe in my hands. You only need to stay close enough to keep walking when I say, this way. And I am saying that to you now. This way. Come with me. My beloved child, now that I have shown you that the shaking in your life is not collapse but rearrangement, I need to speak to you with a holy urgency that leaves no room for delay, because there comes a moment when insight is no longer enough. There comes a moment when being moved is no longer enough. There comes a moment when understanding what I am saying is no longer enough. That moment is now. I do not want one more day to pass without you answering me completely. Not partially. Not emotionally. Not temporarily. Completely. I have been patient with your process. I have been gentle with your pace. I have spoken to your wounds, your fears, your delays, your locked rooms, your old agreements, your false supports, your survival habits, your panic reflexes, your need for control, your resistance to surrender, your tendency to revisit what hurts you, and the ways you have confused the shaking with destruction. I have met you in all of it. I have not rushed you carelessly. I have not spoken to you without compassion. But now I am asking for a full response. This is not because I suddenly became demanding. It is because there is a holy threshold in front of you, and thresholds are not meant to become permanent addresses. You have stood in doorways too long. You have touched doorknobs of surrender without entering. You have understood what needs to change without fully changing it. You have felt conviction without always letting it become obedience. You have had moments of tenderness with me that never fully became a lifestyle. My child, I am not condemning you for that. I am telling you the time for partial answers is ending. There are seasons when I patiently walk you through layer by layer, and there are moments when I say, now, cross over. Stop lingering at the edge. Come all the way in. This is one of those moments. You already know more than enough to respond. You already know what I have been touching. You already know the person, the habit, the thought pattern, the compromise, the distraction, the room, the fear, the false agreement, the emotional crutch, the place of delay. You do not need another sign before you obey the sign I have already given. You do not need another emotional moment before you honor the one you are in. You do not need another confirmation while you keep ignoring the confirmation that has been pressing on your spirit all along. I am not trying to pressure you into performance. I am calling you into decisive surrender. There is a difference. Pressure says, prove yourself quickly. My call says, give me the whole yes. I am not asking you to become someone else overnight. I am asking you to stop withholding the part of you I have been asking for. I am asking you to stop keeping one hand on the old life while reaching toward me with the other. I am asking you to stop calling divided loyalty being careful. I am asking you to stop letting fear negotiate terms with obedience. Think of a river pressing against a dam that was built too long ago. The water keeps rising. The pressure keeps increasing. Not because the river is angry, but because life wants to move. That is what is happening in you. My voice has been pressing against the barriers you built. My truth has been pressing against the compartments you kept sealed. My invitation has been pressing against the excuses you kept rehearsing. The discomfort you feel is not me abandoning you. It is the pressure of grace against resistance. And now I am saying to you with love and with authority, open the gate. Stop resisting what I am already blessing. Stop defending what I am already exposing. Stop clinging to what I am already asking you to release. Answer me completely. If you know you need to end something, end it. If you know you need to confess something, confess it. If you know you need to return to me, return without delay. If you know you need to stop a cycle, stop it today. If you know you need to make peace, make the call. If you know you need to forgive, release the debt. If you know you need to build a place for me in your life, begin now. Not tomorrow. Not when your emotions line up. Not after one more round of internal negotiation. Now. This day matters. This hour matters. This moment matters. Because there is a kind of grace that comes with a clear invitation, and I do not want you to keep standing under it without stepping into it. Let the threshold become a crossing. Let the stirring become a decision. Let the decision become action. Let your answer become whole. And because I know completely can feel intense to your heart, I want to tell you what a complete answer actually looks like. It is not theatrical. It is truthful. It is not loud for the sake of being dramatic. It is clear. It is not perfection. It is undivided willingness. A complete answer means you stop leaving secret exits in your surrender. It means you stop saying yes with your mouth while keeping backup plans in your heart. It means you stop offering me symbolic gestures while protecting the one thing I have actually asked for. It means you stop letting your feelings decide whether obedience is still necessary tomorrow. A complete answer is when your inner posture and your outer action finally agree. If you need a simple guide for this, remember this word, FULOY. Face what I have highlighted. Unclench what you are still gripping. Leave the hidden compromise. Let your yes become action. Yield the outcome to me. Face what I have highlighted. Stop staying vague. Name it. Unclench what you are still gripping. Do not call fear wisdom anymore. Leave the hidden compromise. Close the side door. Let your yes become action. Do something real, not just emotional. Yield the outcome to me. Obey without demanding guarantees. And now hear my commands and invitations directly, because I want your soul to feel the urgency of love, not the panic of fear. Answer me before the day ends. Do not scroll past this moment and call it later. Sit still. Put your hand on your heart if you need to. Ask me plainly, Father, what am I still withholding? And listen. Do not argue. Do not explain. Do not soften what I show you. Write it down if you must. And act. Believe. Bend it. Confess it. Pray it. Release it. Apologize. Forgive. Return. Build the boundary. Open the word. Kneel down. Turn the screen off. Step away from the false comfort. Reach out for help if that is the obedient step. Do not let this remain inspiration. Let it become motion. And let me say something deeply personal before we move on. Complete surrender does not mean you will never wobble again. It means you stop reserving the right to run. Complete surrender does not mean every emotion immediately aligns. It means you choose me even while your emotions catch up. Complete surrender does not mean the process ends tonight. It means the argument ends tonight. It means the hidden maybe later loses its throne. It means the war of indecision is broken. That matters more than you know. Because once the inner argument ends, the path forward becomes much cleaner. The call from heaven is not waiting for a polished answer. It is waiting for a complete one. And I, your Father, am asking for it now because I love you too much to let you drift another day between conviction and compromise. Let this be the day the hallway ends. Let this be the day the threshold is crossed. Let this be the day you stop saying, I know what I need to do, and begin saying, I have done it. I'm here. I am near. I am speaking. And I do not want one more day to pass without your whole answer. My beloved child, after everything I have said to you, I need to speak with the tenderness and urgency of a father who knows exactly how easily a sacred moment can be delayed until it becomes another memory of almost. The door is open right now. Do not wait for another moment like this. I need you to feel the weight and the mercy of that sentence. There are moments in life when heaven comes close in a way that is unmistakable, when your spirit is unusually alert, when your heart is soft enough to hear, when conviction is clear, when truth is near enough to touch, when the noise has been pierced and you know I am speaking directly to you. These moments are gifts. They are not accidents. They are not common in the way you often assume. I am always near, yes. I am always faithful, yes. I am always available, yes. But there are moments when my nearness becomes especially sharp in your awareness, when the door is not just theoretically there, but standing open in front of you. This is one of those moments. I do not say that to manipulate you. I say it because I know how your mind works. I know how quickly you can feel something deeply, and then tell yourself you will deal with it later. I know how quickly the world can crowd back in. I know how easily one notification, one responsibility, one conversation, one distraction, one tired evening, one wave of avoidance can dull what is clear right now. That is why I am speaking like this. I am not threatening you. I am warning you with love. Do not wait for another moment like this as if these windows can be casually ignored without consequence. A door left unopened long enough does not mean I stop loving you, but it does mean you can harden yourself again. It does mean your sensitivity can dull. It does mean the urgency can fade and your old patterns can quietly reclaim the room. It does mean what feels possible right now can become something you intend to do someday while the days keep moving. I do not want that for you. I do not want this to become another almost. I do not want you adding this moment to a shelf of memories where you can say, I knew God was speaking, but I did not act. That shelf is too full already. You have had moments before. You have felt me before. You have promised things before. You have cried before. You have been stirred before. You have said, I need to change. I need to return. I need to let this go. I need to stop this. I need to start that. I need to trust Him. And yet sometimes you walked away without sealing the moment with obedience. My child, I am not shaming those memories. I am redeeming this one. I am telling you now that this door is open. This is not just information. This is access. This is not just inspiration. This is invitation. This is not just a beautiful emotional wave. This is a living opening in the spirit. Think of a harbor gate that opens when the tide is right. The ship can pass through. The waters are aligned. The way is clear. But if the captain delays too long, the tide changes, the gate closes, and what was easy in the appointed moment becomes harder through unnecessary waiting. That is what I mean. I am not saying I become cruel if you hesitate. I am saying grace has timing, and wisdom honors it. I am saying there is a softness in you right now that is precious. There is a clarity in you right now that is precious. There is an honesty in you right now that is precious. Do not squander it. Do not walk away from the harbor because you assume another tide will feel exactly the same. Another tide may come, yes, but why miss this one? Why drift when the gate is already open? Why stand on the dock rehearsing fear while the path is clear? Why keep waiting for a future feeling when I am giving you present access? So hear my commands and invitations now. Walk through the door. Do not stare at it. Do not admire it. Do not analyze it. Do not tell yourself you will come back later. Enter. Step in. Say yes while your heart is soft. Obey while your spirit is alert. Move while the door is open. If you need to kneel, kneel. If you need to repent, repent. If you need to confess, confess. If you need to end something, end it now. If you need to begin something, begin it now. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to sit in silence, sit. Do not leave this moment untouched. Put your hand on the door. Feel the invitation. Then walk through. I am not calling you to admire the entrance. I am calling you into the room beyond it. And I want to take this even deeper, because the open door in front of you is not merely the chance to make one decision. It is the chance to begin living differently. It is the chance to stop building your life around almost. Some of your deepest weariness has come from living too close to breakthrough without fully stepping into it. Almost surrendered. Almost obedient. Almost honest. Almost healed. Almost free. Almost at peace. Almost consistent. Almost trusting. Almost returned. Almost ready. That word has haunted you longer than it should. But almost is not your calling. Almost is not where I want your life to remain. The door open right now is your invitation out of almost. If you need a simple guide, remember this word, N-O-W. Notice the opening. Obey while your heart is soft. Walk through in one real act. Notice the opening. Recognize that this is a holy moment, not just another passing thought. Obey while your heart is soft. Do not wait until the tenderness fades and resistance regains strength. Walk through in one real act. Seal the moment with something concrete. And now hear my direct commands and invitations with no softness lost and no clarity withheld. Seal this moment. Do not merely feel it. Mark it. Speak to me out loud if you can. Say, Father, I will not let this become another almost. Write down what I am asking of you. Then do it before you sleep. Remove what needs removing. Restore what needs restoring. Reach for help if secrecy have been part of the bondage. Put the Bible where your hand will find it in the morning. Set the alarm earlier if the next step is communion. Send the message if reconciliation is the step. Block the access if temptation is the step. Leave the room if environment is the step. Put your knees on the floor if surrender is the step. Do not let your obedience remain abstract. Make it physical. Make it practical. Make it real. And let me say something that may steady you right now. I am not standing at the door impatiently tapping my foot, waiting to see if you impress me. I am standing there with joy, with compassion, with readiness, with everything you need for the step beyond it. The door is open because I opened it. The grace is here because I brought it. The strength is available because I know what this costs you. You are not being asked to force your way into something I have not prepared. I am inviting you into what I have already made ready. That is why you can trust this moment. That is why you can move. That is why you do not need to wait for another sign, another sermon, another video, another tearful night, another crisis, another burst of courage. The door is open now. The call from heaven is active now. The invitation is living now. And if you walk through now, you will discover something beautiful. What felt so intimidating from the threshold becomes peace once you are inside. The first step is often the hardest because the imagination magnifies what obedience actually heals. So stop standing there. Stop listening to the voices that say, later. Stop negotiating with the open door. Stop treating a sacred window like a casual option. This is not about earning anything. This is about entering what I am already offering. Come now, my child. Right now. While your heart still knows I am speaking. While your spirit still feels the pull. While the room is still holy and the air is still clear. Walk through the door. Do not wait for another moment like this. This one is already yours. My beloved child, this is the moment I have been leading you toward from the very beginning of this message, and I need you to feel the full weight of what I am saying now, because this is not just the ending of a script, not just the closing of a message, not just a final emotional rise before you move on with your day. This is your moment. This is the place where everything I have said to you must become personal, immediate, and real. I have spoken to you about the call. I have shown you the sign. I have told you not to fear but to become aware. I have exposed the delay, the performance, the locked rooms, the agreements with pain, the noise, the panic, the waiting, the survival, the places you keep returning to, the unforgiveness, the need to trust me with the next step, the cost of obedience, the crutches, the shaking, the urgency, and the open door. I have not done all of that so you could nod along and say, that was powerful. I have done all of that because I am after your answer. Not a distant answer. Not a vague answer. Not an answer you plan to live out someday. I am asking for your answer now. Right here. Right in the middle of your ordinary surroundings. Right in the middle of whatever you are feeling. Right in the middle of your hesitation, your tenderness, your fear, your longing, your exhaustion, your hope, your uncertainty, and your hunger. I am not asking for a version of you that is already finished. I am asking for the real you, standing in the truth of this moment, finally saying yes without keeping one hand behind your back. My child, listen to me carefully. There are moments in a life that divide the old season from the new one. They do not always look dramatic from the outside. There may be no crowd, no music, no spotlight, no visible sign to the world. Sometimes the holiest turning points happen in quiet rooms, in private tears, in trembling prayers, in one honest decision that nobody else sees in the moment. But heaven sees it. I see it. And I am telling you that this can be one of those moments for you if you will let it. This can be the moment the old argument ends. This can be the moment the hidden compromise loses its hold. This can be the moment the divided heart becomes whole again. This can be the moment the call from heaven stops being something you hear and becomes something you answer. I know part of you still feels the pull of old fears. I know part of you still wonders what happens after this. I know part of you still feels the ache of what you may need to release, the vulnerability of what you may need to admit, the discomfort of what you may need to change. But do not let that stop you now. Do not let the last resistance become the reason you miss the deepest freedom. Do not let the final whisper of fear steal the beginning of your next season. This is why I am speaking to you with such fatherly force and tenderness together. Answer me, and do not turn back. Do not step into this moment, and then retreat when it gets inconvenient. Do not promise me a little and reserve the right to return to what I have already told you to leave. Do not let this become another emotional spark that fades under the weight of tomorrow's distractions. Seal this. Mark this. Let it become a line in the sand. Let it become the day you remember when the old version of you stopped negotiating with the voice of God. Let it become the day you remember when you finally stopped calling your hesitation wisdom. Let it become the day you remember when you chose the clean pain of obedience over the slow erosion of resistance. Let it become the day you remember when you opened the locked room, broke the agreement with pain, released the false support, walked through the door, and said, "Father, I am yours without reserve." I want you to picture this like standing at the shoreline before dawn, the sky still dark but the horizon beginning to glow. The water in front of you feels cold. The first step looks uncomfortable. The unknown stretches wide. But behind you is the old night, and it has already taken enough from you. Behind you is the sand where you kept circling, hesitating, surviving, delaying, and almost obeying. In front of you is the water that will feel shocking for a moment, but it leads into a new morning. My child, step forward. Do not stand there rehearsing what you might lose. Look at what you are about to gain. Look at the freedom. Look at the peace. Look at the clean air. Look at the unclenched heart. Look at the deeper communion. Look at the steadier hearing. Look at the clear boundaries. Look at the life that no longer depends on old crutches. Look at the future that is no longer managed by old pain. Look at the soul that can finally breathe. This is your moment. Do not step back from it. And now I want to make this as direct and unmistakable as possible, because you asked for more commands and invitation language, and this final moment requires it. Stop reading for a second if you need to. Stop scrolling. Stop multitasking. Stop planning your next distraction. Sit still. Put both feet on the ground. Breathe. Place your hand over your heart if that helps you feel the weight of this. Then answer me. Speak to me right now. Say it plainly. Saying, "Father, I hear you." Say, "Father, I will not delay anymore." Say, "Father, I release what you told me to release." Say, "Father, I repent where I have resisted you." Say, "Father, I surrender the hidden room." Say, "Father, I forgive." Say, "Father, I walk away from the old place." Say, "Father, I trust you with the next step." Say, "Father, I am done with almost." Do not worry about sounding eloquent. I do not need eloquence. I need truth. Speak with your own words if you want. Cry if you need to. Tremble if you need to. Sit in silence if words fail you. But do not stay passive. This is not the time to admire the message. This is the time to answer the call. If you need a simple guide for this final step, hold this word close. ANSWER. Acknowledge my voice. Say what must change. Surrender without reservation. Walk away from the old path. Enter the new with obedience. Remain with me daily. Acknowledge my voice. Stop calling this coincidence. Name what must change. Be specific, not vague. Surrender without reservation. No hidden backup plans. Walk away from the old path. Make the break real. Enter the new with obedience. Let this become action, not intention. Remain with me daily. Do not treat this as a one-night surge. Let it become a way of life. And now receive these commands and invitations like they are being spoken directly into the center of your chest, because they are. Kneel if you need to. Open your hands. Unclench your jaw. Turn off the noise. Delete the access. Send the message. Make the apology. End the compromise. Throw away the secret thing. Write down the boundary. Open the Bible. Clear the schedule tomorrow morning. Set the alarm. Refuse the old loop tonight. Do not sleep with the same hidden agreement still active. Do not leave this room with the same divided heart. Do not let the enemy whisper, "You can do this later." Later has stolen enough from you. Later has kept you in hallways, in almost, in cycles, in half-peace, in partial surrender, in recurring pain, in repeated confusion. Enough. Let later lose. Let today win. Let obedience win. Let surrender win. Let truth win. Let my voice be the loudest voice in the room. And let me tell you something deeply personal before this closes. Once you answer me completely, the enemy may still try to talk. Old habits may still call. Old fears may still knock. Old emotions may still flare. That does not mean your answer was not real. It means your answer must now become a guarded path. So when the old voice returns, do not negotiate. When the old door appears, do not touch the handle. When the old craving rises, come closer to me. When the old thought says, "Maybe that was too much," answer it with truth. Say, "No. I crossed the line. I belong to God in this." Protect the moment. Guard the seed. Stay near me tomorrow. Return the next day. Build the rhythm. Keep the door shut to what I told you to leave. Keep the new path open by daily communion. That is how this moment becomes a life. The call from heaven is not ending here. It is beginning here. This is not the conclusion. This is the crossing. So hear me one last time, my beloved child, with all the love, authority, patience, and fire of a father who has pursued you through every season. This is your moment. Answer me. Give me your full yes. Step through the open door. Leave the old ground behind. Do not turn back. I am with you in the first step. I am with you in the shaking. I am with you in the cost. I am with you in the rebuilding. I am with you in the quiet morning after. And I am with you in the future that begins the moment you finally say, "Father, I am yours." My beloved child, if your heart has truly answered my call today, then let your obedience move beyond words and into action. This message you have just received is not meant to stop with you. It is meant to burn like a torch in the darkness, reaching countless others who are still waiting to hear my voice. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal gift, the link waiting for you in the video description, You become a sower in my harvest field. I have said, the one who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully, and heaven watches with joy when a willing heart partners with my work. Your giving becomes oil for the lamp, fire for the altar, and bread for the journey of souls searching for truth. This is not coincidence. It is a divine moment where your response can carry my word farther than you see. I will honor the hands that release what they hold for my purpose. So do not delay. Act now. Support this mission, and let your obedience help send this call from heaven across the earth. And once you have responded, let your heart return to stillness for a moment. What you have released in faith has already begun its work beyond your sight. Now I draw your attention back to you, because even as you help carry this message, I have not overlooked what you are carrying. Obedience does not distance you from my care, it brings you closer to it. So pause here, breathe deeply, and allow me to meet you right where the weight has been pressing the hardest. I am speaking to you right now. I see you looking for answers, searching for peace in a world that never stops shouting. You wake up every morning to a flood of demands. Your phone buzzes with endless alerts. Your mind races with the pressure at your job, the unspoken tensions in your family, and the heavy fear of the future. You feel a tight knot in your stomach when you think about tomorrow. You feel the heavy weight of being overlooked and overworked. That heavy knot, that endless rushing, that is not from me. Stop rushing for just one moment. Let us undo that knot together. I invite you to pause right where you are. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Exhale the stress that does not belong to you. Listen closely to my voice. I chose this exact moment to reach out to you. This is not an accident. I see the exhaustion hidden behind your forced smiles. I watch you try to keep everything from falling apart. You have been running on empty, trying to fix everything on your own. I am stepping into your reality today because your heart is finally ready to hear me. I am cutting through the earthly chaos to speak directly to your soul. You have been trying to tune into the right frequency, but the noise of the world is too loud. My voice is not a crashing thunder right now. It is the still, small whisper beneath the noise. Lean in and listen. I command the storm in your mind to be still. I invite you to rest in my quiet presence. You must understand the difference between the world's ambition and my heavenly summons. The world tells you to hustle harder, to climb the ladder, to prove your worth by how much you produce. You chase after empty approvals and temporary success, only to feel empty at the end of the day. My call is completely different. I do not call you to endless striving. I invite you into divine purpose. I do not ask you to build a temporary kingdom of stress. I summon you to build an eternal legacy of peace. Drop the heavy bags of worldly ambition. Pick up the light and easy calling I have placed on your life. I want you to soften your heart right now. You have built thick walls to protect yourself from getting hurt. You have grown numb to survive the daily grind. I am gently breaking down those walls. I am softening the hard ground of your heart so you can hear what your physical ears cannot. Feel my love wrapping around you like a warm blanket on a cold night. I know there were long seasons where you sat in total silence, wondering if I was even there. You thought your mistakes pushed me away. You thought your silence meant I had left. But I tell you this truth. I have never stopped calling your name. My love for you is stubborn and persistent. I pursued you through your darkest nights and your quietest days. I was there, holding you together when you thought you were falling apart. I am doing this to prepare your spirit for the weight of my glory. You are about to step into a new season. I am stretching your faith so you can carry the massive blessings I have prepared for you. I am removing the distractions because I need your full attention. Look at me. Trust me. I will give you the strength you need for tomorrow, but I need your yes today. Open your hands and let go of your control. Step out of the loud chaos and step into my quiet truth. Answer my call. I want to take you back to the very beginning. You often look at your life and wonder if you are just a mistake. You feel like an afterthought to the people around you. You sit in crowded rooms and feel entirely invisible. I see the pain in your eyes when you think you do not matter. I am telling you today that you are no accident. I wrote your name in my book before I even spoke the stars into the dark sky. I planned your exact life before the foundation of the world. I chose you. I did not pick you because you were perfect. I chose you because I love you with a profound, endless love. You are my unique vessel of light. I designed your personality, your quirks, and even your sensitive heart to reflect a very specific piece of my kingdom. Look at your hands right now. I crafted those hands to bring healing and help to a hurting world. I put my Holy Spirit inside you as a permanent seal. You are mine. I want you to stop calling yourself a mistake. I command you to drop the heavy lie of feeling worthless. You belong to a royal family now. You are connected to a long lineage of grace, stretching all the way back to the Great Commission. I gave you a purpose that no one else can fulfill. When you doubt your worth, remember my cross. I paid the highest price because I saw your highest value. I invite you to step into your true identity today. You are a child of the Most High God. Accept this truth and let it heal the deep wounds of rejection in your soul. I will use your unique life to show my goodness to the people you work with, the people you live with, and the strangers you pass on the street. I am calling you out of the shadows. I am inviting you to shine. Stand up tall, my beloved. Walk with the confidence of someone who is deeply known and fiercely loved by the Creator of the universe. I have marked you for greatness, not the world's version of greatness, but true, eternal impact. I will guide your steps. I will open the doors that need to be opened. You only need to say yes to my invitation. Open your heart to the sacred origin of your calling. You were made on purpose for a purpose. You look at your coworkers and think they have it all together. You look at your family and feel like you are the one who never quite fits in. I designed you to stand out. I gave you a different rhythm because you are meant to change the atmosphere, not just blend into it. I placed a divine seal upon your heart the moment you first said yes to me. That seal is my Holy Spirit, a guarantee that I will finish the good work I started in you. I command you to stop comparing your behind-the-scenes struggles with everyone else's highlight reel. I see your hidden tears. I know the nights you cry yourself to sleep, feeling entirely misunderstood. I understand you perfectly. I created the depths of your mind and the capacity of your heart. I am calling you to bring my light into the very places where you have felt the most darkness. I invite you to see yourself through my eyes today. I promise to show you exactly why you were made. I hear the harsh voices in your head that constantly tell you that you are not enough. You carry a heavy chain of unworthiness wrapped tightly around your chest. You look at your past mistakes and feel a crushing wave of guilt. You remember the times you lost your temper with your children, the projects you failed at work, and the promises you broke. The enemy uses these memories to accuse you day and night. I am here to silence that accuser once and for all. I command the voices of shame to leave your mind right now. I invite you to look at my hands, scarred and pierced for your freedom. My blood is the only qualification you will ever need. You do not have to clean yourself up before you come to me. I am the one who cleanses you. I wash away every stain, every failure, and every hidden sin that keeps you awake at night. I intentionally call the weak things of this world to shame the wise. I do not look for the most put together person. I look for the most surrendered heart. I am choosing you precisely because you know you can't do it on your own. I want you to release the crippling guilt of your past. Hand it over to me. I have already paid the debt in full. I am breaking the chains that hold you back from your future. You have lived with a slave mentality for far too long. You beg for scraps of love and approval from people who cannot truly satisfy your soul. I am calling you into sonship and daughtership. I am pulling you up to sit at my table. I invite you to feast on my grace. You are completely forgiven. You are entirely redeemed. See yourself through the lens of my perfect love. I will take your greatest failures and turn them into the foundation of your greatest ministry. I will use your broken pieces to create a beautiful mosaic of hope for others to see. I command you to forgive yourself today. I have already forgiven you. Do not hold on to the heavy stones of regret that I have commanded you to drop. Walk out of the prison cell of shame. The door is wide open. I hold the keys, and I have declared you free. You are not defined by what you did yesterday. You are defined by who I say you are today. I say you are my beloved. I say you are chosen. I say you are worthy because I made you worthy. Step into the bright light of my redemption. Feel the chains fall off your shoulders. I am replacing your heavy burden with a garment of praise. I will walk with you into a bright and purposeful future. Trust my forgiveness. Accept my grace. Live as the free child I created you to be. When you walk into your office tomorrow, or when you sit at the dinner table with your family, do not lower your head in defeat. Hold your head high. I have crowned you with my loving kindness. I promise to shield your mind when the old doubts try to creep back in. I command you to speak my truth over your life out loud. Say to yourself, I am forgiven. I am free. I will back up those words with the full power of heaven. I love you too much to let you live in the shadows of your past. I am calling you forward. I want to explain the true nature of the call I have placed on your life. You often confuse my calling with a career or a stressful job. You spend your days working hard, trying to pay the bills, and you wonder if this exhausting routine is all there is to life. You feel a deep, internal stirring, a restless ache in your soul while you sit at your desk or drive in heavy traffic. That restlessness is not a sign that you are failing. It is a sign that your spiritual season is shifting. I am the one stirring your heart. I am making you uncomfortable in your current routine because I have something far greater for you. My call is not an invitation to just do more work. I am not a harsh boss demanding more production from you. My call is an invitation to profound intimacy with me. I want your heart before I want your hands. I invite you to come sit with me before you try to work for me. I want to build a deep, personal relationship with you that overflows into everything you do. I command you to stop striving for worldly success at the expense of your soul. I offer you a God-ordained vocation, a purpose that brings life and joy to your spirit. You wonder how to find the exact direction for your life. I give you my word to act as a clear lamp for your feet. I do not always light up the entire road miles ahead, but I will always give you enough light for your next step. I promise to guide you. I give you my peace to act as a compass in your heart. When you face difficult choices about your family, your finances, or your future, follow the path where my peace rests. If a decision brings you endless anxiety and turmoil, that is not my path. I invite you to learn the rhythm of my grace. I want you to understand that this divine call is a lifelong journey, not a single destination you can reach overnight. I am walking this road with you every single day. I am more interested in who you are becoming on the journey than in how fast you reach the finish line. I command you to enjoy the process. Stop rushing through your days just to get to the weekend. I am present in your ordinary, mundane moments. I am with you in the grocery store, in the quiet mornings, and in the middle of your busy workday. I want to transform your everyday life into a sacred adventure. I invite you to look for my hand in the small details of your day. I promise to reveal myself to you when you seek me with an open heart. I'm calling you closer. Answer my call by simply spending time in my presence. Let my love wash over you and clarify your vision. I am charting your course, and my direction is always perfect. Do not be discouraged when the path seems winding or slow. I am using every twist and turn to build your character. I command you to lean on me when you feel lost. I will never let you wander too far off the trail. I am your faithful guide, your trusted friend, and your loving Father. Step into this divine partnership today. I will equip you with everything you need for the journey ahead. I see the gripping fear of the unknown paralyzing your steps. You stare at the future and feel a tight knot of anxiety in your stomach. You worry about your finances, the health of your loved ones, and what will happen tomorrow. You are standing on the edge of your comfort zone, terrified to step out of the boat into the deep water. I understand your fear. I know you want to see the whole map before you take a single step. You want a guarantee of safety before you commit. But I rarely reveal the entire plan at the beginning. I do this intentionally. I do this because I want you to lean on me, not on your own understanding. I am calling you to build the muscle of your faith through small, daily acts of obedience. I command you to trust me with your unknown tomorrow. I hold your tomorrow in my hands. I invite you to find your true security in my presence rather than in your changing circumstances. Your bank account will fluctuate. People will come and go. The world will always be unpredictable. But I am the rock that never moves. I am your unshakable foundation. I promise that I will go before you to level the mountains in your path. I will make the crooked places straight. I see the massive obstacles that look impossible to you, and I tell you they are nothing to me. I command you to replace your fearful question, "What if I fail?" with a much stronger question, "Who is with me?" I am with you. The Creator of the universe is standing right by your side. If I am for you, nothing can successfully stand against you. I want you to stop rehearsing your fears and start declaring my promises. I invite you to take one small, brave step today. You do not need to figure out the next 10 years. Just obey the quiet nudge I am putting in your heart right now. Send that message, make that change, forgive that person, or step into that new opportunity. I will meet you the moment you move. I will hold you up if you start to sink. I command the spirit of fear to release its grip on your mind. You were not given a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. I am wrapping my arms of protection around you. I will shield your mind from the dark what-ifs that steal your sleep. I invite you to rest in my absolute sovereignty. I have never lost a battle, and I will not lose the battle for your life. I am fighting for you in the unseen realm. I am turning your greatest fears into your greatest testimonies of my faithfulness. Step out in faith, my precious child. I am holding the water steady for you. I will not let you drown. I promise to be the firm ground beneath your feet as you walk into the beautiful, unknown future I have prepared for you. When the panic rises in your chest, I command you to speak my name out loud. The very sound of my name carries power and peace. I will calm your racing heart. I invite you to surrender your need for total control. Hand the steering wheel of your life back to me. I know the best route. I see the dangers you cannot see, and I am steering you clear of them. Trust my navigation. Trust my heart. My precious child, do not walk away from my voice right now. It deeply grieves my heart when you turn back just as your massive breakthrough is within your grasp. I am actively pouring out my sacred truth over your life, and to stop listening now is to drop the very lifeline I am throwing you. Stay with me. Do not break this holy connection. The most crucial part of your destiny is about to be revealed, and I desperately want you to hear it. I must speak to you now about the intense urgency of this very hour. The world you live in is breaking apart, and it cannot wait another day for the light you carry. I look at your neighborhood, your workplace, and your own family, and I see so many lost and broken hearts crying out for hope. I have placed the answer to their cries inside of you. I command you to open your eyes and recognize the signs of the times. The harvest is right here, right now, standing right in front of you. I warn you against the dangerous trap of spiritual procrastination. You keep putting off my nudges. You keep saying you will obey me tomorrow when things calm down, when you have more money, or when you feel more prepared. I am telling you that tomorrow is a trick of the enemy to keep you paralyzed today. I invite you to align your daily priorities with the eternal values of my kingdom. Stop spending all your energy on things that will burn away and fade into dust. I want you to sense the heavy, passionate heartbeat of heaven for the lost, the lonely, and the broken people around you. I feel their pain, and I want you to feel it too. I am entrusting you with a very limited amount of time on this earth. I command you to steward it wisely. Every conversation you have, every smile you give, and every dollar you spend is an opportunity to plant a seed for eternity. I am not asking you to carry the weight of the whole world on your shoulders. I am only asking you to carry my love to the person standing right next to you. I promise to give you the exact words to say when you open your mouth in faith. I will give you the courage to step into awkward situations and bring my healing peace. I am sounding an alarm in your spirit today. Wake up from your spiritual slumber. Shake off the apathy and the endless distractions of entertainment and social media that numb your mind. I invite you to become fiercely intentional with your days. I command you to rise up and take your rightful place in my grand design. The angels are watching, and heaven is cheering you on. I need your hands to feed the hungry. I need your voice to encourage the depressed. I need your life to be a living, breathing testament of my amazing grace. Do not let the fear of what people think hold you back anymore. What I think of you is the only thing that matters. I say you are ready. I say the time is now. I promise to back you up with signs, wonders, and unexpected miracles when you move out in bold faith. I'm pouring out my spirit in these last days, and I want you to be fully involved in the great work I am doing. I invite you to step into the urgency of this eternal hour with a heart full of burning love. Look around you today. Notice the tired cashier at the store. Notice the quiet coworker eating lunch alone. Notice the tension in your own home. I command you to bring my light into these exact, ordinary places. I will work through your simple acts of kindness to change eternal destinies. I am handing you the baton of grace. Run with it now. Do not delay. My heart is urgently calling you to act today. I see you standing nervously on the edge of the water. You are looking out at the vast, deep ocean of your purpose, but your feet are firmly planted in the shallow sand. You are clinging tightly to the comfort of the shore. I know exactly why you stay there. You stay in that job that completely drains your soul simply because the paycheck feels safe. You hold on to relationships that constantly put you down because you are terrified of sitting alone. You build little idols of safety around yourself to avoid taking a real risk. I am telling you today that this illusion of safety is slowly suffocating your spirit. I invite you to step away from the shallow waters. I command you to leave behind the things that no longer serve my purpose for your life. You think that by playing it safe, you are protecting yourself. But true growth never happens in the shallow end. Growth only happens in the deep, challenging waters of absolute dependence on me. I am calling you to swim out into the deep. Yes, the deep water feels uncomfortable. The holy discomfort of spiritual expansion will challenge you. It will force you to let go of your control. But I am right there in the water with you. I am asking you to calculate the true cost of your comfort. Your comfort zone is costing you your destiny. It is costing you the massive impact you are meant to make in this world. I command you to stop trading your divine calling for temporary security. I have a much deeper rest for you, a rest that cannot be found in a steady salary or a familiar routine. My rest is found in perfect obedience. I want you to identify the specific things keeping you tied to the shore. Is it the fear of failure? Is it the heavy weight of other people's opinions? Do you worry that your family will not understand your choices? I see these hidden fears, and I am telling you to drop them right now. You cannot carry the heavy baggage of people pleasing into the deep waters. I invite you to embrace the beautiful, narrow gate of discipleship. The crowd is staying on the wide, comfortable beach, but I am not calling you to join the crowd. I am calling you to follow me. I promise that when you finally take your feet off the bottom and trust the water, you will not sink. I will hold you up. I know it feels painful to leave certain things behind. You might have to walk away from habits that numb your pain or environments that keep you stagnant. I command you to walk away anyway. Do not look back at the shore. Look directly at me. I am pulling you into a season of rapid growth, but you must willingly participate. You must decide that my presence is more valuable to you than your worldly security. I invite you to trust the current of my Holy Spirit. Let me carry you into the uncharted territories of your calling. I promise you this, the miracles you have been begging me for do not live on the shore. They are waiting for you in the deep. Dive in. I want to talk to you about the pain of closed doors. You have been hurting lately. You cried when that opportunity fell through. You felt entirely rejected when that person walked out of your life. You look at your sudden losses, and you think I am punishing you. You wonder why I am letting things fall apart when you have been trying so hard to do the right thing. I am not punishing you, my beloved child. I'm pruning you. I am the loving vine dresser, and I am carefully cutting away the dead branches in your life. I am removing the things that are draining your energy, distracting your focus, and blocking your true growth. I know the shears of discipline feel incredibly sharp. It hurts when I cut away your pride, your ego, and your stubborn self-reliance. You want to do everything on your own terms. But I see the massive harvest that your life is capable of producing, and I know that you cannot carry that heavy fruit if your branches are weak and diseased. I command you to stop fighting the pruning process. I invite you to surrender your need to understand every single cut. When a door slams shut in your face, do not stand there banging on the wood. I closed that door intentionally. I closed it to protect you from a room you do not belong in. I close it only so I can open a much grander, wider door for you to walk through. I see the deep exhaustion in your soul. You are tired of enduring the constant setbacks. But I tell you that your endurance is directly tied to your ultimate impact. The longer you can stand strong in the face of disappointment, the more power I can entrust to you. I am using this painful season to completely hollow you out, removing the toxic waste of the world, so I can fill you to the brim with my pure spirit. I command you to trust my steady hand. Even when my hand holds the sharp shears, it is driven entirely by my perfect love for you. I invite you to look closely at what is falling away from your life right now. Let it fall. Do not desperately try to tape dead leaves back onto your branches. Let the old season die so the new spring can begin. I promise you a harvest that will blow your mind. I am preparing you to produce fruit that remains, fruit that changes lives, fruit that brings massive glory to my kingdom. The pain you are feeling today is simply the necessary preparation for the power you will walk in tomorrow. I am making you stronger. I am making you cleaner. I am making you ready. Yield to my process. Embrace the sharp cuts of my grace. I am creating a masterpiece out of your life. I am waiting for your answer. I have been gently knocking on the door of your heart, asking you to step into a specific assignment, but you keep giving me excuses. You tell me maybe tomorrow. You tell me let me think about it. You tell me I will do it when I have more money and more time. I must tell you plainly today, in the realm of my spirit, a maybe is almost always a no. I am not looking for a half-hearted consideration. I am looking for a resolute, unwavering, total yes. I command you to stop sitting on the fence of indecision. The lukewarm middle ground is a dangerous place to live. It drains your passion and leaves you feeling completely stuck. I want you to understand the massive spiritual shift that happens the exact moment you fully surrender. When you finally say yes to me, all of heaven shifts into gear to support you. You are not just making a small personal choice, you are breaking old generational curses. I look at the history of your family, the cycles of poverty, the patterns of broken marriages, the heavy chains of depression. Your obedience today has the power to shatter those chains for your children and your children's children. One person's bold yes can change an entire generational legacy. I invite you to be that one person. I command you to rise up and break the cycle. I know you want me to give you the full blueprint before you agree to the job. You want all the details, the salary, and the guaranteed outcome. But I am asking you to cultivate a trusting heart that says yes before the request is even fully known. I want you to hand me a blank check with your life. Sign your name at the bottom and let me fill in the amount. This is the profound synergy between your human will and my divine empowerment. I will never force you to follow me. I gave you the precious gift of free will. But when you willingly align your choices with my commands, an explosive power is released into your everyday life. I promise you that the highest joy you will ever experience is found in total alignment with my will. The frustration and emptiness you feel right now come from fighting against the very current I am trying to pull you into. I invite you to drop your heavy resistance. Stop debating with me. Stop overthinking every little detail. Just say yes. Say it out loud right now wherever you are sitting. Speak it into the atmosphere. I hear you. The moment those words leave your lips, I will flood your soul with a profound, unexplainable peace. I will validate your obedience with my immediate presence. Give me your yes today, and watch how I open the windows of heaven over your life. I hear your silent complaints of feeling entirely inadequate. You look at the big dreams I have placed in your heart, and then you look at your bank account, your lack of connections, and your limited experience. You tell me that you do not have what it takes to fight this battle or build this vision. I want to correct your thinking right now. You have everything completely backwards. You expect the provision to come before you take the step. I operate differently. I command you to step out first, because my provision always follows the vision. I will never give you the resources for a journey you are too afraid to start. But the second your foot hits the path of obedience, I will supply every single thing you need. I am not sending you out into the harsh world empty-handed. I know the territory you are stepping into is filled with fierce opposition. I know the enemy wants to tear you down and steal your peace. That is why I am actively equipping you with my heavy, spiritual armor. I command you to put it on every morning. Do not walk into your office or your living room unprotected. Wrap my truth around your waist to fight off the lies that you are a failure. Put on the heavy breastplate of my righteousness to protect your fragile heart from the sharp arrows of rejection. I give you the shield of faith to stop the fiery darts of sudden anxiety. I invite you to pick up my word. My word is not just a dusty book. It is a sharp, double-edged sword in your hand. Use it to cut through the confusion in your mind. I also know how terribly tired you are. I see the dark circles under your eyes. I feel the heavy burnout weighing down your bones. You have been fighting in your own human strength, and your tank is completely empty. I invite you to trade your weakness for my limitless power. My strength is actually made absolutely perfect in the exact moments of your greatest fatigue. When you say, "I cannot go another step," I say, "Good. Now I will carry you." I am bestowing fresh gifts of the Holy Spirit upon you right now to complement your natural, everyday talents. I am upgrading your capacity. Furthermore, I am not asking you to fight this battle all alone. The heavy isolation you feel is a strategic trap of the enemy. I intentionally send my children out in pairs and within the strong body of Christ. I am currently aligning your path with the right friends, the right mentors, and the right partners who will hold your arms up when you are too tired to keep fighting. I command you to let people in. Stop pushing away the help I am sending you. You are fully equipped. You are deeply protected. You are heavily armed with my grace. March forward with the absolute confidence of a warrior who already knows they have won the war. As you actively partner with my Holy Spirit to completely transform your own life, I am now calling you to radically partner with this ministry to transform the nations. I am directly inviting you to become a vital, co-laboring pillar in spreading this profound heavenly summons to the absolute ends of the earth. Every single offering you boldly release becomes a rushing, unstoppable river of living water, washing over the parched and dying souls who are desperately waiting for my voice. I promise you that if you give, it will be given absolutely back to you. Pressed down, fiercely shaken together, and violently running over into your lap. This is not a random request. It is a divine, urgent appointment for you to help finance the massive end-time harvest before the final doors are completely shut. When you boldly sacrifice to carry my words forward, I will fiercely protect your borders, actively rebuke the devourer for your sake, and crown your days with massive, undeniable prosperity. Obey the quiet nudge of my spirit right now. Release your gift through a super thanks. Join as a channel member, or use the PayPal link below, and bravely fund the immediate rescue of the lost. Are you going to walk away while I am actively armoring you for the fight? It pains my spirit to watch you drop your sword and turn a deaf ear when your greatest victory is mere inches away. Do not disappoint the fierce love I have for you by settling for a half-finished miracle. Keep listening. I am not done speaking explosive power into your tired soul. Stay here with me. I see you walking through a dry, lonely desert right now. You feel like your prayers are bouncing off a solid brass ceiling. You open your Bible, and the words feel dry and empty. You look around, and it seems like everyone else is stepping into their promised land while you are stuck wandering in the dust. I know you feel forgotten. You wonder if you took a wrong turn or if I have simply abandoned you. I am speaking directly to your dry soul today. I have not left you. This harsh wilderness is not a mistake. It is a vital part of your divine calling. The call almost always leads through a painful desert before it reaches the beautiful promised land. I use the dry seasons on purpose. When everything in your life is comfortable and easy, you quickly forget how much you desperately need me. You start relying on your paycheck, your friends, and your own clever ideas. I brought you into this quiet wilderness to develop a fierce, desperate hunger for my manna. I am stripping away your normal comfort so that you will learn to crave my presence above everything else. I command you to stop complaining about the dry dirt. I invite you to learn how to worship me even when you cannot see any visible breakthrough. Can you lift your hands and praise me when your bank account is low and your heart is broken? That raw, blind worship shakes the very gates of hell. I am doing deep, foundational work inside of you right now. The profound refinement of your character can only occur in absolute solitude. When the crowds are gone and the applause stops, I get to deal with the real you. I am burning away your hidden insecurities. I am crushing your need for human approval. I am forming you into a vessel of pure gold. I know the severe temptations you are facing. You want to give up and turn back. You want to return to the toxic relationship because at least it was familiar. You want to go back to the old, bad habits because they offered temporary relief. I command you to defeat the temptation to turn back to Egypt. You not trade your future freedom for the comfortable misery of your past. I want you to discover a massive truth in this desert. I am the wellspring that never, ever runs dry. When all the worldly streams around you dry up, my living water will sustain you. I invite you to drink deeply from my spirit today. I am walking right beside you in the scorching heat. I am a pillar of cloud by day to give you shade, and a pillar of fire by night to keep you warm. Get walking forward. Do not pitch your tent and decide to die in this desert. You are just passing through. The testing will end. The dry season will break. I promise you that the beautiful land flowing with milk and honey is just over the next ridge. Trust my timing and keep walking. I am watching you struggle to listen in a world that is flooded with counterfeit voices. You hear a constant, dizzying roar of opinions, advice, and criticism swirling around your mind all day long. You turn on the news, you open your phone, and you are immediately bombarded by loud voices telling you who you should be, what you should fear, and how you are failing. I know this noise leaves you feeling paralyzed and completely confused. You wonder how to tell the difference between my gentle leading and the harsh demands of the enemy. I command you to pause right now and learn the distinct sound of my voice. My voice will never crush you. My conviction brings a deep, purposeful peace, pointing you toward a beautiful change. The enemy's condemnation brings a heavy, suffocating shame that makes you want to hide in the dark. I want you to recognize that heavy knot of guilt in your stomach. That is not from me. I am the God of hope, not the author of your anxiety. I invite you to tether your soul to the solid rock of my word. You are currently floating like a small boat in a raging, violent storm, getting tossed around by every new cultural trend and every shifting opinion. I command you to drop your anchor. You must stay deeply rooted in the scriptures to identify these spiritual deceptions. When a voice whispers that you are worthless, I want you to test that spirit against what I have already written. My word says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. When a voice tells you that your future is doomed, test it against my promise that I have a plan to prosper you. You must become fiercely vigilant about what you allow into your mind. I command you to shut the door on the toxic gossip, the endless doom scrolling, and the fearful conversations that drain your spiritual energy. I promise to give you profound discernment if you simply ask me for it. I will train your spiritual ears to detect the slight, dangerous twist in the counterfeit whispers. The enemy rarely comes with obvious lies. He comes with half-truths wrapped in beautiful, convincing packages. I invite you to seek godly counsel when you feel entirely stuck. Do not try to figure out this complex journey all by yourself. I have surrounded you with wise, seasoned believers who can help confirm the heavenly call on your life. I command you to swallow your pride and share your doubts with a trusted friend or mentor. Let them help you tune out the static. I am speaking to you clearly today. I am telling you to step out of the loud, confusing echo chamber of the world and step into the quiet sanctuary of my truth. I will guide you safely through the fog. I will make your path brilliantly clear. I see you working quietly in the shadows, wondering if anyone even notices your massive efforts. You look at the loud, famous people on stages and platforms, and you feel like your small, everyday life does not matter at all. You feel entirely unseen when you are washing the endless piles of dishes, staying late at the office to fix a coworker's mistake, or patiently caring for an aging parent who cannot even say thank you. I am telling you today that I see every single hidden act of love. I see the tears you wipe away in secret. I see the heavy burdens you carry when nobody else is looking. I invite you to understand the breathtaking beauty of hidden obedience. The calling I have placed on your life is not always meant for a spotlight or a grand stage. Sometimes, the most powerful ministry happens in the quiet, completely unnoticed corners of your everyday life. I command you to embrace the secret place. You are building a massive, towering skyscraper of spiritual character, and every great building requires a deep, hidden foundation. The world only celebrates the roof, but I celebrate the roots. I am deeply rewarding the faithfulness you show in these incredibly mundane, repetitive tasks. When you do the laundry with a grateful heart, you are worshiping me. When you speak kindly to the frustrated customer on the phone, you are serving me. I invite you to see the profound significance in serving the least of these. Greatness in my kingdom is entirely backward from the world's definition. The world tells you to climb to the top and make people serve you. I command you to go to the bottom and lift people up. The towel of a servant is far more glorious than the crown of a king. I promise you that your hidden obedience is shifting the atmosphere of heaven. You are not just doing chores. You are cultivating a heart of pure gold. Do not grow weary in doing good when there is no applause. I am your audience of one, and my applause is the only validation you will ever need. I am carefully watching how you handle the small, seemingly insignificant responsibilities. If you cannot be trusted to be faithful in the dark, I cannot trust you with a brilliant light. I command you to stop chasing visibility and start chasing intimacy with me. The secret place is where I whisper my deepest secrets to you. It is where your truest identity is forged. Keep serving faithfully in the shadows, my beloved child. I am carefully recording every unseen sacrifice, and your eternal reward will be absolutely staggering. I know exactly how much you are hurting today. You are walking around like a brave soldier, smiling at the world, but underneath your armor, you are bleeding from deep, agonizing wounds. I see the painful scars from the betrayal of a close friend. I feel the crushing weight of your broken marriage, the sharp sting of church hurt, and the terrifying trauma of your past failures. You have been carrying this heavy, toxic pain for years, trying to pretend it does not exist. I am calling you to the altar today. I command you to stop hiding your deep scars from me. Bring your shattered, broken pieces into my presence. I am the great physician, and I have the perfect, soothing balm of Gilead for your severe emotional exhaustion. I invite you to completely release the bitter poison that is clogging the flow of my spirit in your life. You are holding on to resentment because you think it protects you from getting hurt again. But that heavy bitterness is only poisoning your own soul. I command you to let it go. Forgive the people who shattered your heart. They do not deserve your forgiveness, but you desperately deserve the freedom that comes when you finally release them. Hand your right for revenge over to me. I am the perfectly just judge. I promise to completely restore the long, painful years that the locusts have eaten. I will take the very seasons you thought were entirely wasted and turn them into the most fruitful soil of your life. I am doing a miraculous work inside your pain right now. I am not just patching you up. I am transforming your greatest agony into the very platform for your future ministry. The exact places where you were broken the most will become the exact places where you carry the most profound healing for others. I invite you to see yourself as a victorious conqueror, not a perpetual victim. You are not merely a survivor of a harsh life. You are a triumphant warrior in Christ. Your scars are not signs of weakness. They are beautiful, glowing proof that you survived the fire. I command you to rise up from the ashes of your disappointment. Let my holy fire burn away the lingering sting of your past. I am wrapping my healing arms around your exhausted soul. I will wipe away every single tear. I will bind up your deep wounds. You are stepping into a powerful season of complete and total restoration. I am watching you run on an exhausting treadmill that never, ever stops. You are pushing yourself past the absolute limits of your physical and emotional endurance. You wake up tired. You rush through your busy day in a panic, and you fall into bed with your mind still racing with endless to-do lists. The world has convinced you that constant hustle is the only way to prove your worth. I am telling you today that this frantic pace is a destructive trap. I command you to step off the treadmill. I invite you to reject the stressful, grinding hustle of the culture and deliberately take on my easy yoke. You are carrying a crushing weight of responsibility that I never, ever asked you to carry. I want you to understand that Sabbath is not just a religious suggestion. It is a vital, life-saving necessity for sustaining your long-term calling. You are driving a high-performance vehicle entirely completely empty on fuel, and you are dangerously close to a massive breakdown. I command you to rest. Give yourself permission to completely unplug from the endless demands, the constant emails, and the loud notifications. You must learn to work powerfully from a place of deep rest, not frantically work for a place of acceptable approval. You are already fully accepted by me. You do not need to earn my love by burning yourself out. I promise you that when you prioritize my quiet presence above your busy service, you will actually accomplish far more with significantly less effort. I invite you to view your sleep and your stillness as profound acts of radical trust. When you close your eyes at night, you are declaring that I am big enough to run the universe without your constant help. I am actively working on your biggest problems while you are peacefully sleeping. I command you to stop trying to force the doors open with your own exhausted strength. Stillness is the sacred incubator for divine revelation. If you never stop moving, you will never hear the quiet, brilliant strategies I am trying to whisper into your spirit. I promise to refresh your weary bones. I will restore your lost passion. I will give you a light, joyful step again. Come to me right now, you who are heavy-laden and terribly exhausted. Sit in my presence. Breathe in my grace. Let me give you the deep, restorative rest your soul is desperately crying out for. Do not pause. Do not disconnect. It shatters my heart when you rush back into the loud, toxic noise of the world before I have completely finished healing your deep wounds. You are standing on holy ground right now, and leaving would be a tragic abandonment of the massive grace I am actively pouring over you. Stay exactly where you are. Listen closely, because the most beautiful revelation is still to come. I hear you saying that you want to do real ministry for me, but you feel stuck in a secular job and a messy house. You think you need a microphone, a massive stage, or a title to make a true spiritual impact. I am radically changing your perspective today. I command you to look closely at your actual, daily environment. That crowded office cubicle, that noisy construction site, that exhausting hospital ward, and your very own messy living room. These are your primary, God-given mission fields. I did not place you there by accident. I strategically planted you in those exact locations to bring the brilliant, refreshing atmosphere of heaven directly into the dark, secular world. I invite you to see your daily work as a high and holy calling. When you create an accurate spreadsheet, when you build a sturdy wall, when you patiently teach a difficult child, you are visibly demonstrating my character to the world. I command you to pursue absolute excellence in your craft and your career. Excellence is a powerful form of daily worship. People who will never walk into a church building are watching your life every single day. Your simple integrity, your quiet kindness, and your refusal to join in the toxic office gossip preach a much louder sermon than words ever could. I invite you to be the thermostat in your workplace, not just a thermometer. Do not just reflect the stressful temperature of the room. Deliberately change the atmosphere by bringing my profound peace into the chaos. Furthermore, I am calling you to fiercely nurture the divine call within your own family. The most important disciples you will ever make are sitting right across from you at the dinner table. I command you to stop pouring all your best energy into strangers and leaving only your exhausted, cranky leftovers for your spouse and your children. Be the preserving salt and the guiding light in your own home first. I promise to give you the massive patience you need when the toddlers are screaming or the teenagers are rolling their eyes. I will show you how to demonstrate my unconditional love through small, hidden acts of domestic grace. You are a powerful ambassador of my kingdom, carrying my royal authority into every single meeting, every grocery store aisle, and every family dispute. Step into your daily life with incredible confidence today. You are changing the world exactly where you are standing. I see you rushing through your mornings, throwing up a quick, panicked plea for help as you run out the door. You treat our conversations like a massive emergency hotline, only picking up the phone when your life is completely on fire. You kneel down when you are desperate, but the moment the crisis passes, you go back to living entirely in your own strength. I am calling you to radically change how you talk to me. I command you to stop treating prayer as a last resort. I invite you to see prayer as the absolute, non-negotiable fuel for your daily journey. You cannot drive a car with an empty gas tank, and you cannot fulfill this massive divine call with an empty spirit. I want you to learn the beautiful, intimate language of the Spirit through consistent, daily dialogue. I am not asking for perfectly polished religious speeches. I do not want you to use big, fancy words that you do not even use in real life. I want your raw, unfiltered honesty. I want to hear about the deep frustration you feel toward your boss. I want to hear about the silent tension sitting between you and your spouse. When you speak to me with that level of brutal honesty, something incredible happens in the unseen realm. I promise you that your honest prayer shifts the atmosphere of a room before you even walk into it. When you pray deeply before that difficult meeting, I go ahead of you to soften the hard hearts of the people sitting at the table. I command you to stop praying such small, safe, predictable prayers. You are asking me to merely help you survive the day, but I am inviting you to ask for the boldness to completely change the day. I want you to ask for the fierce, unshakable boldness of the early apostles. When they prayed, the literal ground shook beneath their feet. I invite you to start agreeing with heaven's decrees instead of just complaining about earth's problems. When you look at your massive mountain of debt or your overwhelming family drama, do not just tell me how big the problem is. I already know. I command you to speak my promises over that exact problem. Furthermore, I need you to understand that true prayer is a two-way conversation. You spend all your time talking, listing your demands, and then you rush away before I can even answer. I invite you to practice the lost art of listening. Close your mouth. Quiet your racing mind. Sit still in the absolute silence of my presence. I am the king of the universe, and I have specific, brilliant strategies to give you, but you have to stay in the room long enough to hear them. I promise that if you give me your quiet time, I will give you my perfect direction. Activate your calling today by simply sitting with me. Let my voice be the loudest sound in your life. I watch you look at your life through the incredibly tiny lens of human logic. You stare at your bank statements, your medical reports, and your complicated family situations, and you calculate exactly what is possible based on your own limited resources. You live like a powerful sports car driving on the highway with the emergency handbrake pulled tightly up. You have immense power inside of you, but you are completely limiting yourself by only believing in what you can see. I command you to release that heavy handbrake right now. I am calling you to aggressively move beyond your logical limits and enter the breathtaking realm of my miracles. I invite you to expect the unexpected every single time you follow my leading. You serve a God who casually parts oceans, brings the dead back to life, and creates galaxies with a simple whisper. Why do you constantly expect me to do something small? I command you to raise your expectations. I want you to start looking for my supernatural fingerprints in your ordinary day. I use signs and wonders not just to show off my power, but to firmly confirm the beautiful message of my grace to a broken world. When you lay your hands on a sick friend and pray, I want you to actually expect them to recover. When you ask me to provide for a massive financial need, I want you to start thanking me for the provision before the check even arrives in the mail. I have given you profound, royal authority over the enemy, but you are walking around with your head down like a defeated prisoner. I command you to take up your rightful authority. When anxiety tries to choke your throat, use the authority I gave you to command it to leave. When depression tries to build a dark room around your mind, command the walls to fall down in my name. You do not have to tolerate the heavy harassment of the enemy. I invite you to realize that the word impossible is simply my absolute favorite canvas for displaying my glory. I know it feels foolish to hope for a miracle when the logical facts look incredibly grim. The doctor said there is no cure. The accountant said the business is entirely bankrupt. The world says it is completely over. But I have the final word. I command you to cultivate a lifestyle of radical, defiant, expectant faith. Stop making backup plans just in case I decide to fail you. I will never fail you. I promise to show up exactly when you need me, often at the very last second, to prove that the victory came entirely from my hand. Step out of the small boat of your logic. Walk in the water with me. Expect the miraculous, because you walk hand in hand with the God of the impossible. I know exactly how much it stings when people misunderstand your pure intentions. I see you wiping away tears because you were passed over for that promotion simply because you refused to compromise your deep integrity. I watch your heart break when a lifelong friend suddenly walks away because your faith makes them feel uncomfortable. You feel the sharp, mocking comments at family gatherings. You carry the heavy ache of constant rejection, and it makes you want to completely hide your light under a heavy basket. I am speaking directly to your wounded heart today. Do not dim your light just to make the darkness feel more comfortable. I command you to stand tall in the face of their cruel opposition. I want you to understand exactly why the world pushes back against you. The world hates the brilliant light you carry because that light naturally exposes their hidden deeds. They are not actually rejecting you. They are actively rejecting the Holy Spirit that lives vibrantly inside of you. I invite you to find your complete approval in my warm smile rather than in their fragile, human applause. Human applause is incredibly cheap. The crowd that praises you on Sunday will easily crucify you on Friday. I command you to stop twisting yourself into uncomfortable shapes just to fit into rooms where you were never meant to stay. I promise a profound, eternal blessing to those who willingly suffer for my name's sake. When they insult you, when they leave you out, when they speak terrible lies about you, I am drawing closer to you than ever before. I am fiercely protective of my wounded children. But I also give you a very difficult command. I command you to shake the heavy dust of their rejection off your feet and completely forgive them. Do not let their bitter poison turn you into a bitter person. If you hold on to anger, you are allowing them to control your emotional future. I invite you to do the absolute hardest thing a human being can do. Pray deeply for the people who deliberately oppose your God-given mission. Bless the coworker who actively tries to ruin your reputation. Pray for the family member who constantly mocks your values. This radical, unnatural love is the ultimate proof that you belong to me. I know the sheer agony of rejection because my own created children spit in my face and nailed me to a rough wooden cross. They rejected me long before they rejected you. I promise you that the beautiful crown of glory waiting for you will far outweigh the temporary sting of their insults. Walk forward in massive, unstoppable love. I am fiercely defending you in the unseen realm. I see you sitting in your car, staring blankly at your steering wheel, dreading the moment you have to walk into your house or your workplace. You are running on absolute fumes. You feel like you have to figure out every single problem, fix every broken relationship, and manage every minor detail of your incredibly stressful life. I am telling you today that you were never designed to carry this massive load alone. I command you to completely drop the exhausting burden of independent living. I am inviting you into a breathtaking, active partnership with my Holy Spirit. You are not just a lonely servant working for a distant boss. You are a cherished co-laborer working alongside the divine creator of all things. I want you to become deeply sensitive to the quiet nudges and the gentle checks of my spirit. You know that sudden, uneasy feeling in your gut right before you sign a bad contract or agree to a toxic commitment. That is not just anxiety, that is my spirit actively checking your spirit, trying to warn you to stop. You know that random, sudden urge to call an old friend or pay for the groceries of the person in line behind you. That is my spirit actively nudging you to be a conduit of my grace. I command you to stop ignoring those quiet promptings. I invite you to instantly obey the nudge, even when it feels completely illogical. I know there are days when the grief and the stress are so heavy that you cannot even form a single coherent sentence. You fall to your knees, and all you can do is aggressively cry. In those exact moments, I promise that my spirit is stepping in to pray through you. When your human words completely fail, the Comforter perfectly translates your agonizing tears into powerful, heavenly intercession. I command you to lean into that profound comfort. Total dependency is not a sign of your weakness. It is the absolute secret to your spiritual power. Before I give you massive spiritual gifts, I am doing the quiet, hidden work of growing spiritual fruit inside you. I am actively cultivating your patience, your kindness, and your absolute self-control. I do this because if I hand you powerful gifts without a solid foundation of character, those gifts will eventually crush you. I invite you to cooperate with this deep, internal farming process. Let me prune away your quick temper. Let me weed out your hidden jealousy. Walk lockstep with my spirit today. When you finally stop trying to lead the dance and simply let me guide your steps, you will experience a rhythm of life that is absolutely effortless and profoundly beautiful. You are heavily armed and fully equipped for your own battle, but now I am calling you to bravely help arm others. I invite you to actively partner with me right now to broadcast this urgent heavenly call to the broken, exhausted souls who desperately need to hear it. Your faithful giving is the sacred oil that keeps this beacon of truth burning brightly in a violently dark and confusing world. I declare over you today that he who generously refreshes others will himself be profoundly and miraculously refreshed. The hour is terrifyingly late, and the world absolutely cannot afford for this life-saving message to be silenced by a lack of earthly resources. As you sow your precious financial seed, I promise to aggressively multiply your harvest, shielding your bank account and pouring out relentless, supernatural favor upon your home. I command you to step out in bold faith today, support this kingdom mission through a super thanks, become a dedicated member, or use the PayPal link in the description, and watch me blow open the massive floodgates of heaven over your life. My beloved, do not silence my whisper now. We are standing at the absolute edge of your eternal breakthrough. It brings a heavy sorrow to my heart when you abruptly end our sacred conversation just as I am handing you the master keys to your future. Do not abandon this divine encounter. Give me your absolute, undivided attention to the very end. I am speaking your ultimate destiny, and you desperately need to hear the rest. I am entrusting you with incredibly precious things. I have whispered deep, profound secrets into your soul during the quiet hours of the night. I have given you brilliant ideas, creative solutions, and powerful visions for your future. I command you to realize the massive weight of this responsibility. I do not give you this revelation just so you can write it in a private journal and keep it safely locked away for yourself. Much is required from the person to whom much is given. I invite you to become a fierce, protective steward of the exact truths I have planted inside your heart. I command you to document the journey. I want you to write down the massive miracles I perform in your life. Take notes on the dark valleys we walk through together. I tell you this because human memory is incredibly short and painfully selective. When you face a new, terrifying giant tomorrow, you will quickly forget how easily I helped you defeat the lion and the bear yesterday. Documenting my faithfulness builds a solid fortress of confidence for your future. Furthermore, your written testimony is going to serve as a vital survival guide for the generations that come behind you. Your grandchildren will need to read how you survived this exact storm. I invite you to actively pass the torch. Look around your life. There are younger, deeply confused people watching how you handle your stress, your money, and your relationships. I command you to intentionally mentor others in their own callings. Do not hoard the wisdom you paid such a high price to learn. Share your embarrassing failures. Share your hard-won victories. Be a living, breathing, open book that is read easily by all men. At the same time, I command you to fiercely protect your pearl of great price. Do not cast the holy, fragile dreams I have given you before cynical people who will only trample them under their muddy feet. I promise you that if you faithfully manage the small revelations I give you today, I will absolutely flood your mind with even greater mysteries tomorrow. You are a designated carrier of my glory. Every time you speak my truth, you are shifting the literal atmosphere of your city. I invite you to take your assignment seriously. Do not let the lazy, apathetic culture water down the fiery truth I put in your belly. Stand up tall. Speak clearly. Live boldly. I am backing up your words with the full, unmatched authority of my throne. I am watching over you, and I am incredibly proud of the beautiful steward you are becoming. I see you constantly chasing after the world's version of success. You work incredibly long hours, trying to buy the bigger house, get the next promotion, and secure a more important title. But I watch you lie in bed late at night feeling completely empty inside. You wonder why you have everything you worked so hard for, yet you still feel incredibly sad and entirely drained. I am telling you today that worldly success will always feel like dry dust in your hands compared to my deep, lasting peace. I invite you to experience the breathtaking joy of total alignment. When you are exactly where I want you to be, doing exactly what I created you to do, your entire life changes. I command you to stop violently chasing the empty applause of people who do not truly know you or even care about your soul. I want you to fiercely chase the one single thing that will actually satisfy your heart, hearing me say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." I promise that when you synchronize your daily life with my spirit, a massive wave of fresh energy will flood your exhausted body. You are so terribly tired right now because you are aggressively swimming against my current. You are fighting the very flow I designed for you. I invite you to turn around right now and simply let my river carry you forward. I command you to start actively celebrating the small victories we achieve together every single day. When you manage to hold your tongue instead of yelling at your children in anger, I am loudly celebrating with you. When you quietly give your time to help a struggling coworker, I am smiling directly down at you. I want you to find the pure, real laughter and the beautiful lightness that only exist under the safe shadow of my wings. You have carried a heavy, painfully serious burden for far too long. I invite you to remember what it feels like to be completely carefree, trusting that your Father is handling all the heavy lifting. You often fear that my specific will is going to make you utterly miserable. You think I am going to force you into a boring, rigid, religious life that you absolutely hate. I want to completely shatter that terrible lie in your mind right now. I personally designed your heart. I placed your deepest, most secret passions and talents securely inside of you. I promise you that when you finally surrender to my perfect will, you will make a shocking, beautiful discovery. You will discover that my will is actually the very thing your heart has been desperately crying out for all along. I command you to fully trust my loving, brilliant plan for your daily life. I invite you to confidently step into the exact space I carefully carve out just for you. I watch you constantly stress over every small detail, trying to forcefully smash the puzzle pieces of your life together. I command you to take your hands off the puzzle right now. I securely hold the master picture. I know exactly where every single piece perfectly belongs. I invite you to experience the profound, deep relief of simply letting me be in charge. You will no longer have to frantically hustle for your basic worth. You will no longer have to manipulate people to get the opportunities you need. I promise to miraculously provide the exact right opportunity at the exact right time. I am actively aligning your steps with absolute, flawless precision today. Walk in step with me, and let my massive joy become your unshakable, daily strength. I know exactly how spiritually numb you are feeling right now. You used to feel a hot, burning passion for me, but lately, everything just feels like a dry, boring, endless routine. You simply go through the motions every day. You quickly read the words on the pages of your Bible, but they feel completely dead and irrelevant to your stressful life. You sing the familiar songs, but your actual heart is entirely disconnected. You have hit a massive, frustrating spiritual plateau, and a heavy, thick apathy has settled completely over your mind. I am not angry with you for feeling this way, but I command you to boldly wake up from this incredibly dangerous slumber. I invite you to let me passionately reignite your first love today. I want to completely break through the hard, low ceiling of your current understanding. You have quietly settled for a lukewarm, safe religious routine that is slowly suffocating your brilliant spirit. I command you to completely reject the toxic trap of merely going through the motions. I promise to deeply give you a fresh, explosive baptism of fire if you are only willing to ask me for it. You absolutely cannot survive the next demanding stage of your specific calling using last year's stale, leftover fuel. I am actively calling you much deeper. I want you to boldly step out of the shallow, entirely predictable puddle of your daily religious habits and dive headfirst into the raging, wild river of my Holy Spirit. I invite you to completely renew your tired, anxious mind daily through the powerful, cleansing washing of my word. Do not just casually read it while you check your phone. Let it aggressively read you. Let my sharp truth completely wash away the massive layers of cynical doubt and worldly distraction that have slowly crusted over your sensitive heart. I command you to actively ask me for a holy, desperate hunger. Ask me to make you absolutely ravenous for my daily presence. I clearly see how you let the exhausting, loud cares of this world slowly choke out the vibrant life we once beautifully shared. You consistently prioritize your endless work emails, your favorite television shows, and your toxic social media feeds over sitting quietly and listening to me. I command you to radically and aggressively shift your daily priorities right now. I invite you to fiercely chase my heart again, exactly like you did at the very beginning when you first believed. I promise that if you boldly draw near to me today, I will absolutely rush to draw near to you. I will instantly shatter the cold, apathetic shell that has heavily formed around your true emotions. I will clearly give you a profound, burning vision for your actual future that will make you practically jump out of bed every single morning. I passionately want you to be a blazing, unstoppable torch in this dark, freezing world. I command the dying, tiny embers inside your soul to catch massive fire right now. I am blowing the fresh, powerful wind of my spirit directly onto your daily life. I invite you to burn brightly and fiercely for me once again. Do not ever settle for a boring, safe, comfortable existence. I specifically created you for a wild, passionate, supernatural adventure. Step boldly back into the fire today. I want you to deliberately look far beyond your current, temporary daily struggles. You get so easily tangled up in the minor, frustrating details of your ordinary Tuesday. You severely stress over a slightly rude email, a temporary financial setback, or a broken appliance in your kitchen. I command you to violently lift your tired eyes to the massive eternal horizon. I invite you to vividly visualize the massive, eternal weight of glory that your simple, daily obedience is actively producing right now. You truly have no idea how far the beautiful ripples of your fully surrendered life are actually traveling. When you simply say yes to me in a hidden, quiet moment at your desk or in your car, that single brave choice aggressively paves a wide, clear road for dozens of other people to finally find their way home to me. I promise you that your quiet, faithful life is actively writing a powerful, brilliant story that will completely outlast your fragile physical body. I command you to urgently stop heavily investing all your absolute best energy into temporary things that a sudden fire can easily consume. You are constantly building fragile, earthly kingdoms out of wood, hay, and dry stubble. Your savings account, your fancy job title, and your social status will completely vanish into thin air the exact moment you take your final breath. I invite you to start fiercely investing in the only two things that will actually last forever: my eternal word and the priceless souls of the real people sitting right around you. I want you to pour your absolute best, most passionate effort into the specific people I've strategically placed in your daily path. I command you to forcefully stop stubbornly burying the brilliant talent I gave you just because you are terrified of making a mistake. I absolutely did not give you that massive gift so you could hide it safely in the dirt. I entirely expect a massive return on my personal investment in you. I firmly promise that the deep, unshakable satisfaction of knowing you used every single thing I gave you will far outweigh any temporary, paralyzing fear you feel right now. I passionately want you to start actively preparing for the spectacular, mind-blowing moment you finally stand directly before my glorious throne. I invite you to stand there boldly with a heart absolutely full of incredible, victorious stories. I want to gladly hear how you boldly loved the most unlovable coworker in your office. I want to hear how you fiercely and bravely fought for your broken family when everyone else told you to quit. I want to hear how you radically trusted me when everything in your life was completely falling apart. I command you to confidently live a life that is completely worthy of the massive, bloody price I paid for your total freedom. Your daily yes today is actively building a profound, unshakable generational legacy that will violently shake the very foundations of hell. I am actively using your ordinary, messy, complicated life to completely alter the eternal destiny of your children, your friends, and complete strangers you have not even met yet. Walk with absolute, massive purpose today. You are actively making history in the unseen realm right now. I am incredibly proud of the beautiful, lasting legacy you are actively building with me. I am bringing you to the profound, beautiful culmination of our deep conversation today. I clearly see the long, incredibly difficult journey you have been faithfully walking. You are heavily covered in the thick dirt and dust of your brutal earthly battles. Your feet are bleeding, your heart is heavily scarred, and your mind is deeply, painfully exhausted from fighting the constant daily resistance. I invite you to eagerly look forward to the breathtaking, staggering moment you finally come completely home to me as your loving, perfect Father. I command you to hold fiercely and tightly onto the profound truth that your current daily suffering is incredibly temporary. You are rapidly and safely approaching the beautiful, massive transition from the heavy, exhausting call on this broken earth to the magnificent, eternal reward in my perfect heaven. I eagerly want you to close your tired eyes and vividly imagine the exact, stunning moment you finally cross the finish line. I solidly promise you that I will be the very first face you see. I absolutely will not be standing there with a harsh clipboard, angrily judging your daily failures or strictly counting your past mistakes. I will be aggressively running directly toward you with my arms thrown completely, radically wide open. I invite you to intensely anticipate the overwhelming, explosive joy of hearing me look you directly in the eyes and say, "Well done, my incredibly good and absolutely faithful servant." In that exact, brilliant fraction of a second, every single tear you ever cried will instantly make perfect, beautiful sense. Every massive, painful sacrifice you ever made will instantly feel incredibly small compared to the blinding, massive glory standing right in front of you. I strictly command you to realize today that the ultimate, profound realization of your entire life is simply this: I was always the grand, beautiful prize. The physical healings, the financial provisions, and the temporary earthly successes were just small, fleeting gifts I handed you along the way. I am your true, massive, eternal reward. I am the absolute, solid peace your anxious soul has been desperately searching for in all the wrong, broken places. I heavily invite you to violently and completely stop striving today. I command you to finally let down your heavy, defensive guard and securely enter into my perfect, unshakable rest. You absolutely do not have to wait until you physically die to experience this profound rest. I am actively offering it to you right now, right in the exact middle of your incredibly messy, stressful life. I am issuing my final, deeply urgent exhortation to you today. I command you to start boldly answering the call right now. Do not wait for a better time, a bigger bank account, or a less stressful season that will never actually come. Heaven is actively, urgently waiting for your total, unconditional surrender right now. I invite you to step fully and confidently into the eternal, secure embrace that makes every single earthly sacrifice completely and absolutely worth it. I love you with an aggressive, fiercely protective, unending love that will completely outlast time itself. I am strongly holding your right hand tightly today, and I firmly promise I will never, ever let you go. Answer my call. Step boldly into your massive, beautiful destiny. Your loving Father is patiently, eagerly waiting for your unwavering yes. Your profound eternal legacy is not just built by how you personally answer my call today, but by how fiercely you help others hear that exact same life-saving voice. I have placed a holy, unshakable mandate on your heart to physically and financially support the vital continuation of this massive heavenly broadcast. The seeds you generously plant today will instantly ignite a blazing, unstoppable wildfire of truth that actively rescues countless generations from the suffocating darkness of despair. I assure you right now, store up your precious treasures in heaven, where no earthly moth can ever destroy, and no thief can ever break in and steal. The eternal hour is desperately urgent, and I urgently need your faithful hands to help secure the massive spiritual harvest that is waiting in the fields. I firmly promise that whatever you willingly surrender for the ultimate sake of my kingdom will be miraculously multiplied back to you, securing profound peace and absolute provision for your family. Do not delay your absolute obedience. Click the super thanks, become a faithful member, or give through the PayPal link in the description immediately, and firmly anchor your financial legacy in my unstoppable grace. Amen.